Just 2 rounds remain in the latest installment of BSRTC action, with the winter coming to a close. Temps are on the rise both on and off the track, and a late season momentum swing in favor of Adam Shepard will be hard to correct at Brands Hatch tonight. Hi, and welcome to Pit Stop TV and the BSRTC Winter Series. It's round 8 of 9 at Brands Hatch. I'm Andrew Cardinale with JP Costa as per usual, and JP, firstly, welcome back. It wasn't you last week, it was Zach Lindgren, and while that was all fun and games, it's good to have you back around.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me back. I even stumbled upon my words. I definitely missed not being here last Thursday, but well, I'm very happy to be back here. After 4 amazing rounds we had on Tuesday on the MX-5, it's time to do it again on those touring cars. And well, I miss these guys. I miss the good racing they provide, and I'm definitely ready, Andrew, for 4 more amazing rounds here today.
Qualifying is starting up. Cars are being released out onto the racetrack, and that means the action is picking up. We've got a larger field today than we've had the last couple of weeks. I think getting some of those drivers back that have been gone a week or two. Here's a look at Luke Kidsley, one of the first out onto the track, getting those tires up to temperature. And let's just get to it. First things first, before we get to anything else, the weather. It seems like that's what we like to talk about a whole lot. It really determines how this racing goes, and you can see 67 degrees in the air, 70 degrees on the racetrack. It's very fair weather, as I described to you pre-race here, or even pre-broadcast. Very fair. It's mostly cloudy. There's little bits of sun that peek through, but it is just a nice, calm, somewhat overcast day. I think it's going to be a good day for racing. So let's get to the track map then. Of course, Brands Hatch Circuit. It is one of the best in the world, and certainly one of the best in Britain. Paddock Bend. It's always just fun. Paddock Bend, Druids, and Graham Hill Bend, I think, are one of the best opening sequences in all of motorsport.
Oh, absolutely. It's just so challenging to get it right perfectly lap after lap. But when you do it, when you start nailing and getting your momentum, is just so much fun. Obviously, you mentioned then you go to the Cooper Straight. Surtees is a really difficult corner with many approaches you can take. Obviously, a late apex might be the most beneficial on race pace. Then you come to the long back straightaway, turn 5. Kind of tricky. You can go side by side. Then that complex, Andrew, turn 6, turn 7. That just feels so right when you get it perfectly right. And then you go to Sterling, and then the third straightaway, small straightaway in the Clark curve to do it all over again, lap after lap for these guys in case 4 times in 15 minutes.
We'll see how things go today with all these cars getting up to speed, up to temperature, and a few new ones out there. There's certainly a lot of different ways today's racing can go. Let's take a look at our standings coming into this afternoon. Adam Shepard, as I mentioned, a big swing of momentum. Now 5 wins on the season, JP. Picked up big time last week at Silverstone. I know you weren't there for it, but I think this paints a very clear picture of how things went. Tom McMahon now down to 2nd with his 4 wins on the season. Rob Baker there in 3rd. Those are easily the 3 we're watching. And you can see that by virtue of the points differences. Michael Seal, 376 points behind Adam Shepard, the points leader. Then you get a nice little Pro-Am battle with Seal and Piggott, a win each. Kidsley is nice and tucked in there in 6th. He might get ahead of those Pro-Am guys. We'll see how the points drop. And, of course, Nathan Davies hanging on to a top 10 with Mark Johnston, Carl Hardy, and Jamie Goodall a little further back. What I like about the right side is we've got 4 amateur drivers over there now. Craig Schill, Roger Morton, Ollie Ricks, and Fiona Siddons.
Oh, absolutely. It's just closer battles on all 3 categories. If you take a look, obviously, at the pro category, 82 points, a difference between 2nd and 1st. And then you look at the Pro-Am, that's 31 points difference between them. No, 29. Well, math. So Pro-Am. And then you come to the amateur side, it's, 19 points. So really, Andrew, at the end of today, we could really see a big change of points. We can really see a lot of those drivers losing the lead, and the 2nd place is obviously taking that lead into the championship, and it's crucial. It's the 8th of 9 rounds, so it is getting very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think we've gotten accustomed lately to seeing those big point swings, especially with the Miatas and Jason Cooper coming up and taking the lead away on Tuesdays away from Andy McEwen. And now Adam Shepard doing the same thing here to Tom McMahon. We're used to these big point swings, and we're going to see more of them as the day goes on. Of course, 4 races fit the bill today as per usual throughout the entire season. Here is your 9-round season, but 36 races because 4 times 9 is that number 36. It's February 7th, 2022, which means we're at Brands Hatch, and JP, this is going to be an interesting ending to the season. Brands Hatch today, Mount Panorama next week. It's going to be a little bit hectic.
Oh, it's going to be very, very hectic. And Even though the tracks are quite different, Andrew, I feel like they have a bit of similarity. This could be, I guess, in my opinion, a small practice. Obviously, we saw last Tuesday, that Brands Hatch doesn't really allow for many mistakes. We saw a few drivers getting away of going wide into the grass, but if you take a look, having that grass, having that gravel, that no escape essentially from the tarmac, it could be a preparation for Mount Panorama with all those walls, all those concrete barriers over the mountain, ready to destroy your car, even by the smallest of errors. But obviously, that's talk for next week. This week, it's, well, beautiful Brands Hatch.
And if you're joining us maybe for the first time, or even if you're a returning viewer here with British Sim Racers, by all means, reach out to us on social media, join the conversation using hashtag BSRTC and hashtag PitStopTV, and let us know how you're feeling, who you're rooting for today maybe, or if you're a driver, send in a picture of your paint scheme. I keep asking for it. You guys better start coming in on that. We've got qualifying, as I mentioned, underway here. You've seen it in the background for the last few moments. Let's take a look then at your your time standings, if you will. As well, that's the wrong one. There we go. Mark Johnston, fastest in qualifying so far, JP, but still 9 minutes to go in this session.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still plenty of time, but, well, a really good time, a really good banker, you can say, from Mark Johnston. 3.25 tenths of a second ahead of second place, which is Jamie Goodall. An excellent performance for him as well in qualifying, doing really good, outperforming the leaders in the pro class. Luke Hidsley, who was really strong at Knock Hill, if I'm not mistaken, that was the name of the track. He was really strong. Adam Shepard as well, the championship leader, as you mentioned last week, had a great weekend. He's outperforming him as well, so a really good performance by Jamie Goodall. Mark Johnson as well, really good. Really happy to see those guys in the top of the standing so far.
Yeah, Shepard notched 2 wins last week, which is big. To win half of a race day is really, really big in this series. The only other winners on the day were Rob Baker and Mark Johnston. So, yes, they were both pros, but Baker sits in third. So that just allowed Shepard to continue to take advantage of Tom McMahon's bad luck last week. Multiple crashes for car 66. And I don't see Tom McMahon on the racetrack. So potentially serving a quali ban. I know that's been a big topic throughout a lot of this season. Drivers not being able to qualify, having to come back through the field. And that really, I think, sets you onto a bad trajectory, because if you have to miss qualifying for for whatever reason and have to start from the rear, JP, that means you're back there where all the trouble is. That means you're back there and more likely there we go, Shepard at the top of the board. That means you're more likely to get caught up in incidents and more likely to serve another quali ban. So, big stuff for Tom McMahon to be stuck back there. He might get on the racetrack. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if he has a quali ban, but it's looking like it. You did see the 17 car go to the top of the board, and you see some new names throughout the field, some missing number boxes. One of those is James Holman, currently in an Audi. How about that, JP, sitting in third?
Absolutely. You know how much I love the Audi, and it's just really, I guess, not misused, but underused in this championship, unfortunately. It's not really the strongest of cars, but it's really nice to see an Audi being competitive and, just sticking itself in third place. So really good to see him, his first Audi in an Audi, and already in third place.
And Holman will be in the pro class. The number and all that will get sorted out for next week, I'm sure, at Bathurst. Excuse me. But, yes, all of the RD Sim Sport drivers today, which there are multiples of, as you can see others throughout the field, such as Tom Mayle. That is another one of the RD Sim Sport drivers. You see the nice livery there. Now, he might have to give that number up, though, if Chris Knox comes around, because that is the Chris Knox, number 23. But I think it'll be okay for one race. Tom Mayle in the 7th spot so far in qualifying. Another driver to look at then would be Rob Sutherland. Another Audi. How about that? So pumping up the Audi numbers, it looks like, today at Bathurst. I'm getting ahead of myself already at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, really nice to see this many Audis. I feel like it's also one of the best looking touring cars out there. As you can see now, Luke Hidsley went to the top. Only 35 thousandths of a second, which is, well, on this field, Andrew, with this competition, I guess it's a decently sized gap and should be healthy, but, just the name of the game, you can see how smooth he is on the steering wheel. As you can see him right now into turn 4, you can see just being as smooth as possible, trying to avoid any sort of understeer on that car, as obviously front wheel drive and, well, just turning the wheel itself, you're gonna lose a little bit of traction, but he's doing fantastic, and so far he leads. Also, Rob Baker went second as well, so really good performance by them. So the gap is really, really shortening.
And tensions are certainly high between the area motorsport drivers and the Puma drivers, such as Luke Hidsley, Rob Baker, and some others. Yeah, I don't know. So Rob Baker, obviously, as you can see here for area. Luke Kidsley, Mark Johnston, and Nathan Davies compete under that Puma banner. We'll see how things go tonight. You know, we saw some conflict certainly last week, and we've seen some of that conflict brewing. Of course, you can throw Adam Shepard in that bin as well, JP, where he's been kind of mixing it up with those guys, mostly the area drivers of McMahon and Baker. But hey, this could be one of those tracks where things settle out a little bit. A lot more racing room, I think. A lot more straightaways, chance to stretch your legs and space yourselves apart.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like Brands Hatch really does offer, even though the layout's quite difficult to go side by side, I feel like it really does offer great opportunities to go side by side in battle. And I'm quite sure we're going to see plenty of those. We saw plenty of those on Tuesday. We're going to see more of these right now on Thursday. And Roger Morton as well on the overall top 10, Andrew. That is just insane to see, and that's a great performance for him.
And he was just knocked down one position. He was actually in 9th, and now he gets dropped down a couple more, so he's outside of the top 10 now as multiple drivers go faster. I noticed Nathan Davies is up to 6th now on pole for Pro-Am competition. So yeah, we're going to see a lot of differences, I think, in this race. Those RD guys all in pro, that's going to change things up. And Holman, actually, James Holman, is he... Pro? No, okay, so he is one of the pros. Yeah, already having to learn some of these names. It's going to be interesting, but definitely a big qualifying session already for Roger Morton, leading the way at the moment in amateur. Second place in amateur, if you're curious, is Jason Morris back here, and he was exciting to see last week at Silverstone. I think it was a lot of fun to watch this 917 get after it and ruffle up some feathers. Fiona Siddons was also fun to watch, battling with Ollie Ricks a lot. And I actually don't see Ollie Ricks in the field, which is going to be big as far as Ollie's season.
Yeah, unfortunately missing a round, it means you're going to miss out 4 races, which is really can shake up your championship. It's going to make you lose a lot of points, especially if your competition is strong on sad weekends. So Ollie could really, I guess, lose a lot of points. He could really suffer from his absence here tonight. But we saw plenty of times in the season, Andrew, some drivers just ended up missing just 1 or 2 races on the day and then rejoin for the final 2. So it could, if he joins, it could stop the bleeding.
So qualifying just rolling on here. I like this. It's almost like if you were at a racetrack, or well, obviously at this racetrack, at Brands Hatch, and just able to stand along the pit wall and watch cars go on by. I like this. This feels nice, and especially with racing season coming back up for I think everybody in the world just about, or at least everybody in the northern hemisphere as we thaw out. I know you guys are getting ready to head into winter, JP, but for us up here, we're all trying to thaw out and get out to racetracks. This is a nice scene to see.
Oh yeah, here, us on the South Hemisphere, we cannot even go out on racetracks, just too hot. You know, we're probably gonna melt in the driveway, but yeah, I guess in winter will be appreciated in Brazil. It's not gonna snow, so it's still gonna make out for some interesting performance.
Never say
especially...
never. We've seen some crazy weather this past year or so.
Oh,
never say never.
It would be interesting to say the least.
So your top 4 are still Kidsley, Baker, Shepard, and Johnston. Now, out of those, Kidsley and Johnston are teammates. Baker and Shepard are separate teams. Baker for Area and Shepard for Shepard Motors. As one of the Puma cars just came across the line flashing somebody else. Let's go ahead and look through the field a little bit. Check out some other cars in the field, such as Sir Alan Toon in number 965 for Spyro and Result Clothing. Currently qualified in the 22nd spot.
Now, Andrew, I wonder, Sir Alan Toon races with a tuxedo, isn't it? If
yes,
he
to my
races
knowledge,
with
a tuxedo and a top hat is the big one.
And a top hat. Now, I wonder, when summer comes in Britain, if it gets too hot, will he still race in the tuxedo?
You know, that is a good question. But I feel like if you're going to be named Sir Alan Toon, and if you're going to be sponsored by Result Clothing, you kind of have to look the part, right? You kind of have to go ahead and get that top hat and maybe that tuxedo if he does. You kind of have to look the part in that case.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna need a webcam to follow Sir Alan Toon's season throughout the races. What do you say?
Yeah, season 2. Maybe that's, or I guess season 2 for us covering it, but next season here in 2022, maybe that's a goal for us here to get worked out with the British Sim Racers. Now, Alan's going to try and improve on a 1:36.15. He's got about a minute left to get back to the start-finish line, and he will certainly do that and then some. But we don't know exactly if he's going to improve. We'll stay with him here and see if he does move up at all. The next car ahead would be Shane Piggott. That'd be for 21st, and then ahead of that would be Fiona Siddons in 20th. Glenn Humberstone maybe within reach as well. We'll see what he can do. Sir Alan Toon out to Clark Curve. And across the line, does he improve? Not quite. A 137.039, so about a second off. But hey, this means he gets to start this next lap, and, well, I've jinxed him.
Yeah, looks like the commentator scores has switched from myself to Andrew. So if you're watching the stream and you're on the grid, so watch out for his famous races. You can see now Morris currently 2.3 seconds off the leader. Is he on a flying lap? I feel like he is. Yeah, he's about to finish his lap, so we're gonna have to take a look if he improves. Currently, he's second overall in the Pro-Am class. Still, Andrew 1.4 seconds off the pole for his class.
See what he can do here. Across the line, trying to improve on a 134, 124, and he does improve by about 0.2. Does he move up at all? No. But he does get closer. Oh my goodness, he is 1/1000th of a second behind Andrew Jebsen. Look at this. The best time, a 1:33.889 for Morris. It's a 1:33.888 for Jebsen. That is pain.
That is extremely close. That's pretty much a hair only, so... Andrew Jebsen, I'm sure he's going to be, well, relieved to see the lap time from Morris, but obviously Morris is going to be beating himself because that was just, I guess, just anything you could get 1,000. I guess it's just really hard to miss out on 1,000 or even gain 1,000 on those laps. Now you can see now Sutherland looks like he finished up his qualifying efforts.
And he just went faster going ahead of Sam Smith, so up to 13th.
Yeah, so 13th place for him. Another Audi, so... that will pump up the Audi count to number 4, if I'm not mistaken, overall in the season. Oh, we have a car spun around, looks like. Just Roger Morton just passed him.
Glenn Humberstone just towed, so that would likely be who it was, as Roger goes a bit wide and will abandon that lap time, unfortunately. So who else is on the racetrack? James Clark, I think, is about it, and he, I think, has just started a lap, so he likely will not get another one in. He is 15th in qualifying. Andrew Littler, maybe, in 23rd. Can he finish up a lap real quick? He is exiting Clark. We'll see if he can move out of the bottom spot in qualifying. 23rd fastest so far at a 137.387 across the line. It's a 136.614, but it is not fast enough to get ahead of Alan Toon, so he will stay at 23rd spot. And it looks like 3 cars this evening are serving a quali ban, or at least opting out of qualifying, those being Craig Schill, James Neve, and Tom McMahon. So just a few more moments here before we head on over to the grid. It's been a fun season, JP. I think a lot of moments to look back on, fondly, more importantly, and a lot to be happy with here with our first season of covering the British Sim Racers, be it Trophy Tuesdays, on Tuesdays, obviously, with the Mazda MX-5s, or Touring Car Thursdays here with the Honda, the Audi, and the Hyundai.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely love this season. Absolutely love the racing format. You know, the difference between those two cars, you know, both of them racing the same circuits. So, it has just been fantastic. And, well, it's unfortunate that it's coming to an end. Luckily, it's only next week, but I'm definitely going to miss these guys after Bathurst.
So, cars getting to the grid, drivers strapping in and ready to go for their first 15 minutes of racing. Let's go ahead and bring you back to the sim then and get ready for race number 1. On pole, you'll find none other than Luke Kisley for Puma and that motorsport team. Rob Baker there in second. Starting in third, you'll find the 17 of Adam Shepard. Johnston rolls off fourth. James Holman of the 104 rolls off fifth. Nathan Davies will start from sixth. Starting seventh today in race 1, it's Michael Seal in the 557 with Tom Mayle starting from 8th. Your back row of the top 10, it's Jamie Goodall and Ralph Cullinan.
11th place will go the way of Carl Hardy in the 573, the 992 of Roger Morton in 12th place for the amateur pole. 13th place will go to Rob Sutherland in the number 7 and the 525 of Sam Smith in 14th place. 15th will go the ways of James Clark, the number 6 and number 20 of Carl Johnston in 16th place. Row number 9 will go the way of Andrew Jebsen in the number 25, then the 917 of Jason Morris in his outside, and row number 10, Andrew, will go the way of Glenn Humberstone and Fiona Siddons.
Look at that. There's an iRacing.com safety car on the track. We do not have a standing start today.
Oh.
I think that's a mistake. I really do think that's a mistake. So that's going to change things up. And those Audis out there, they get those big launches. they might actually be disadvantaged in this first race. We'll see how that goes. Starting 21st in race 1, though, it's Shane Piggott in the 527, just quicker than Sir Alan Toon in 22nd. Andrew Littler will roll off from 23rd, and then we get the guys at the back who could not qualify. Tom McMahon, 24th, James Neve, 25th, and Craig Schill in the 26th position. So, something we're not used to, it's a formation lap. Or is it? The pace car is on the racetrack, but we just got time here. I guess we're going to learn. We're going to find out. The pace car will roll off, and yes, we are going to go ahead and have a formation lap. Something different for these guys. We're not used to this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure these guys are not used to it as well. Obviously, as you mentioned, those Audi drivers that are used to getting good launches, they're probably going to be, well, they're going to hurt a little bit. Obviously, those drivers starting on the
look at his chance now to warm up the tires. Yeah,
as well. That's going to be an interesting format as well for these drivers, as you mentioned. You know, warming up those front tires, getting that grip. It should help in avoiding a possible lap 1 collision as well.
This is different, but I don't mind it. And of course, coming from oval racing, I'm used to this kind of thing. I'm used to a formation lap. I'm used to a pace lap to get everybody warmed up. I know this is different for everybody here at the British Sim Racers, but I, at least, am used to this kind of thing. I'm okay with it. This is going to change things up. I kind of like this, even though I highly doubt it was intended.
Me too, and it's going to have mixed opinions on the drivers, I dare say, as well. It's going to be interesting to see on the interviews post-races what the drivers think about this. I'm pretty sure some of them will welcome, some of them will maybe not. And, but yeah, I don't know, Andrew. I think I kind of like it as well.
I like this opportunity to take some onboards on this formation lap. Let's check out the nose camera that we have and we've used so far this season. This is on Adam Shepard. Oh, got to be careful. See, they're not used to this kind of thing. They're about to crash in the pace lap. You don't want to do that. Let's check out the gearbox camera, the rear bumper camera on Adam Shepard's car. And now let's drop back to maybe Sam Smith and go to the onboard right on the roof of his car. You can see the windshield there, or the windshield banner, BSRTC. He's going to start behind Roger Morton. Let's check out Jason Morris with our onboard inside the car. So these are going to be some of the more creative angles inside the car. This is obviously looking forward. How about looking at the driver of Jason Morris? Maybe let's check out Shane Piggott's view from the right front dash. We've used this camera plenty this season, especially to look at guys that are trying to hit somebody, maybe. The right rear, as it's called, but the rear camera view. Much like that onboard on the roof on the front of the car, this is pretty much the same thing, just on the rear, and I think it's a pretty good view overall. Luke Kidsley is going to lead us to the green flag. We've not done this before, JP, with this rolling start, the pace car entering the pit lane, and all of these guys warming their tires up, but let's give it a shot here for race number 1 in round number 8 of BSRTC in their Winter Series. Sam Smith wide there in turn 1, and we've got crashing. That's Roger Morton sideways in the dirt. Will he get back on orderly? Hopefully.
Looks like he did. It was just half spin. We saw a big puff of smoke, but his car got to straighten up. As you can see, the rest of the field kind of orderly through turns 2 and 3. As you can see now, pretty much single file for the rest of the field. So after that small collision into lap 1, we can already see some flashing headlights, so some drivers may be frustrated with one another's, but looks like the rest of the field engine looks like it's cooperating, but our leader kind of took the rallycross route through Surtees.
Yeah, these guys blending the lines between on racetrack and off the racetrack right now. Lap 1 into Hawthorne for the first time. Some battles throughout the field as our leaders now going to round Dingledell, well, Westfield and then Dingledell. And oh, one car way off. That's Nathan Davies out in the dirt now.
Oh, he was really wide. He manages to save the car. That was excellent car control. Almost getting taken out by the number 15 as he rejoined, but looks like it was safely done. And unfortunately for him, he's going to be losing a few positions, maybe a little bit of pace. As you can see now, it looks like Adam Shepard, as we have another car going really wide into Sterling's on the exit. As you can see, Adam Shepard maybe having to defend, not quite yet. So the top 4, Andrew, kind of broke off.
Lap 1 will be complete just about now as Luke Kidsley leads the first lap. It's Baker second, then Shepard, Johnson, Holman, and Mail.
Seal and Goodall lead the Pro-Am class in 7th and 8th, and you can see now the teammates battling. It looks like we have that battle for the lead. Looks like Rob Baker had to go defensive. No, that's Adam Shepard passing Luke Kidsley into turn number 2. As you can see now, they're going to go side by side into turn number 3.
So Kidsley is now down to 3rd. Baker took the lead from him.
Oh yeah, he took. Nice. So yeah, absolutely a change for the lead. You saw Kidsley and Shepard as well door banging a little bit into turn 2. Looks like he tried to get the position back, didn't work, and almost took out Kidsley.
Here we go. Mark Johnson now going to look as one of the RD cars is off in the dirt. Gets back on. Maybe that's Holman slow male passing. As Johnston is going to have a look at Shepard here. This is for 3rd. Get onto the podium maybe now for Mark Johnston.
He definitely wants to. He definitely wants to join his teammate on the podium for race number 1. As you can see, he's already going down the inside. It's going to be a trick. No! That's contact, and that's Adam Shepard. Looks like he just didn't hit the barrier, but he's going to be losing, dropping all the way to the back of the grid.
Not to the back necessarily. Gets right in front of Nathan Davies. He's 8th now, and back off the course again he goes. That's going to lose a position maybe. Yes, Nathan Davies around the outside, but here comes Adam Shepard right back at it. He will not go down without a fight.
Oh, absolutely not. He's a fighter. He definitely wants to battle for those positions. He's forced to the outside of the final corner.
Contact!
He's going to stick it in. Oh, a bit more contact. He's going to go even wider, Andrew.
What a disastrous lap for Adam Shepard. You know he is seething in that car right now.
Oh, absolutely. He's not going to be happy, and I'm pretty sure we should expect to see crazier moves to see him move forward in the grid. Now he sits 14th, Andrew. He started this lap in 3rd place.
Look further up, some side-by-side there with Cullinan and McMahon. Tom McMahon from the back of the grid is up to 12th position and going for 11th on the inside there of Cullinan. He's got the spot, and just behind, you can see Smith and Shepard going after it. Shepard wants that spot that would put him 13th. I think Smith just took it away, actually.
Yeah, I think so too. Looks like the number 17 is unfortunately dropping even further from the spot. No, he tried to get the position and unfortunately couldn't, Andrew, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, as you can see further ahead, we have some battles. Looks like side by side. It's pretty much a drag race. Is that Carl Hardy and Jamie Goodall? No, that's Nathan Davies.
Oh! Massive hit! Tom McMahon is destroyed. Rob Sutherland is going to take out more cars. We've got a massive, massive crash in the forest here. Oh my goodness.
Oh no. Yeah, that was absolutely massive. Wow. How many cars do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like it.
And Tom McMahon, another week in a row, another race where he is destroyed and has to tow back to the pit lane. I really do feel for him at this point. He has had so much bad luck the last 2 weeks, not of his own doing. Let's take a look at it from his onboard here. He's going to get hit, I believe. Well, no, there's going to be the contact ahead with Nathan Davies and Carl Hardy, or whatever happens here, and then here comes Sutherland just... Oh my gosh.
Oh, Jesus. Did the Audi just lose by itself?
Yeah. Sam Smith, Glenn Humberstone, it looks like. Yeah, that was Humberstone and all of that. And Jebsen, that's that yellow and blue car. Wow.
Wow, indeed. And, I mean, Tom was having a fantastic few first laps, Andrew, and unfortunately that's going to make him uneligible for the invert later on. So, really bad luck for him. As you can see now, the teammates battling Mark Johnston and Luke Kidsley. Looks like they're on the back straightaway. And did Johnston just get past Kidsley as well?
Yes, Kidsley actually was 2nd place. Good eye there. But now a couple of the RD Simsport cars, the 2 that have not crashed, are 4th and 5th. So really good start for these guys in this series. Mail over Holman so far. Tom Mail over, what is it? Yeah, James Holman. So a couple of new names we'll have to learn apparently because they are looking good. They're bringing Jamie Goodall, who is your Pro-Am leader currently. R575 is looking good.
Yeah, it's looking really good. It's essentially keeping up with the front pack a little bit. Obviously losing looks like a few tenths each lap, but this pace is really, really strong from Jamie this early on in the race. Well, I say this early on, Andrew. We're almost halfway through the race, so it's so far a really good pace for him. Already looks like 3 seconds ahead of his closest competitor right behind him. And, well, it's interesting to see as well the new teammates battling, as you can see now, Michael Seal with a different livery.
Yeah, so he debuted that last week. He's brought out these BSRTC and BSR MX-5 liveries the last couple of weeks, and I like this. So he had this at Silverstone, but it would certainly be new to you and maybe new to anybody else who missed Silverstone. So it is a fantastic-looking green paint scheme. There's some mixing up further back that I want to look at real quick. Look at this gaggle heading through Druids. I noticed a lot of red and green switching with Morton and Schill. That's what we're watching here. James Neve and Carl Johnston are just behind. Johnston, a new entry in Pro-Am.
Yeah, this is a battle for the amateur lead. So, as you can see now, oh, nearly making contact over there. So that was a nice dive down into Surtees. That's gonna allow him to keep the position for the time being. Looks like Craigshield's not gonna be able to defend from Neve, to attack Neve back. Looks like it, but yeah, that just ruptured the battle for the amateur lead. As you can see now, on the onboard with Carl Johnson and Roger Morton. Andrew is gonna be able to have a car safer barrier, I guess you can say, between him and Schill for the time being.
So Morton is 14th, Neve is 15th, Schill is 16th, and oh, we got a crash up ahead. Jamie Goodall and, oh my gosh, Michael Seal. The Pro-Am leaders have just crashed. Seal is still trying to get refired and get back onto the racetrack. One more car is off behind him. That is Fiona Siddons going for a slide just ahead of Sir Alan Toon. Where is the gap for car 557? There is no gap, it looks like. So 557 and 575 in trouble here. And I'd have to imagine this starts with Jamie Goodall making a mistake. And it does.
Yeah, it's because he's just going a little bit too idle and unfortunately cannot correct.
Oh
Tries to hold the car and unfortunately just way too momentum to hold. And oh, was that Nathan Davies with it? Oh my god. Was that Carl Hardy?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I was surprised by the save by the save from Nathan Davies to avoid any contact, but if that was Carl Hardy on the Honda, that was just impressive to avoid. That was really quick thinking and amazing driving. As you can see, Michael Seal unfortunately getting taken off there. Nathan Davies avoids both of them, but look at that Honda driver. Wow.
That was Carl Hardy, yes, and Hardy is now much better for it as we've got a battle for the race lead live. Let's cut back to that. Mark Johnston, Rob Baker going to go after it. They're bringing in Luke Kidsley. This is going to be a three-way battle once we come back around to it. Johnston has just taken over the race lead, picking up where he left off from Silverstone.
Really good pace from him so far. He was quickest at one point in qualifying, so now he takes back that lead. And Andrew, if he has clear air and, well, Baker cannot really do anything right now, I dare say that number 56 is going to drive away. And look at that, that also brought Holman and Mayle as well to the fight, so I expect to see those two new faces battling to show supremacy. But look at the run that Kidsley got into from Baker. Maybe we're going to see a move into turn 2. Baker looks like goes a little bit defensive and avoids any sort of battling, but that's just allowing Johnson to create a little bit of a gap, already half a second.
5 minutes and change to go. Car 56 now out in the lead. Collin and Piggott do some battle. Shane Piggott, who started 23rd, or 21st actually, was one of the slowest qualifiers, is now in 8th. As we've got a crash involving Fiona Siddons much deeper in the field, and she is off, it looks like, in turn number 1, and will tow back to the pit lane. Let's go back to our leaders then. 5 cars in a line. Positions 1 through 5 are Johnston, Baker, Kidsley, Holman, and Mayle.
And don't forget, Andrew, we saw plenty of times through the season drivers saying that the Audi is really strong when you have long straightaways in. Well, 4th place is an Audi, and we do have quite a few straightaways on this track where could really benefit the Audi drivers. So Holman, if he can get a good enough exit on the final corner, or maybe even to Surtees, we might see some of that German horsepower powering through.
It'll be interesting to see how these races develop with the Audis, I think. A couple of them from RD Sim Sport. Obviously, we saw the Audi with Michael Sill. We've seen that Audi all season long. 4 minutes to go now across the line. That will be 3 laps to go. We're lapping at about a 1 minute 32 second pace, 1 minute 33 sometimes. As your top 2 start to gap the rest just a little bit. Rob Baker following Johnston.
Following Johnson, looks like Luke Kidsley now is focused on defending from Holman. Cannot really close the gap to Baker, and that's just going to allow the Audi driver. Now Rob Baker, as you can see, really closed up the gap once again. It was half a second on the last lap on the exact same point. Now it's around 3/2 of a second. So Baker's definitely not ready to yield that lead just now, Andrew. I'm pretty sure he wants it back. As you can see, different lines being taken into Surtees. As you can see now, Kidsley and Holman. Looks like Kidsley took a bit wider line and should benefit with that from the exit. So the Audi driver cannot really pounce and overtake. But look at his teammate. His teammate might have something to do with it.
I think the two teammates might sit in line here and just bide their time until they can gang up on Luke Kidsley. Let's look further back in the field where Nathan Davies leads a train of cars. This is 7th on back. In fact, 7th through 11th, just about. They're all in line, all the way back to Carl Hardy.
And this is a battle for the Pro-Am lead as well. Nathan Davies just leading by a few tenths of a second.
Oh! Nathan Davies,
no!
sideways! Was there contact with Piggott? That's a great question. Davies, though, back in line just ahead of James Clark. Saves that 10th spot and backs up 10th and 11th. Now Shane Piggott takes point of this group. Ralph Cullinan just behind. Makes me wonder if Cullinan is maybe more of a Pro-Am driver. He's looking good so far.
He's looking really good. As you can see, there is that James Clark just going really wide. Looks like it is. But that is going to change. Shane Piggott just got gifted the lead, the provisional lead, at least for the time being, of the Pro-Am class. He's really going to try to drive away from Cullinan right behind him. As you can see, the 992 of Roger Morton currently leading the amateur class, but not that big of a gap, Andrew. You can see Craig Shield just less than half a second.
This is your battle in amateur for your race win. It's not much of a battle just yet, but Craig Schill sees where he needs to be, sees the car he needs to battle. Look at that, bit wide through Druids for Roger Morton. It's only going to open the door a little bit, so a little bit of gains. Lap 9 of 10 for the entire field, which puts Mark Johnston coming up to the white flag then. Rob Baker in tow. Third is Kidsley, and he is defending big time now from Holman. That was a big defense into Hawthorne.
Big defense. You can see two battles. Oh, the Audi is going to look to the inside. Not quite. That's going to compromise a little bit of his middle sector. His teammate, oh, he goes really wide. His teammate backs off a little bit. So trying to help the number 104. As you can see now, Holman trying to find any way sort pass to pass Luke Kidsley. His teammate's not going to go for it. So maybe a switch up in plan of attack. But if that was not planned, Andrew, that could really cost them both a chance of that podium.
I think that's good, though. Well, I mean, I think that switch is good. I think that'll let Holman kind of calm down after that battle with Kidsley and allow Mail to kind of get after it as we have the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. I think that's a good switch for those two as they try and get by Luke Kidsley and put at least one of them on podium. Neve and Clark do battle further back, but this is up front. Rob Baker looking for a way by Mark Johnston. Now, these are the only two race winners from Silverstone, JP, not named Adam Shepard. Shepard won 2 races, but these two split the other 2 wins, and they're going to get one of these 2 drivers is going to try and get another one here today.
Yeah, they're gonna, well, one of either 2 of these are gonna take it if nothing happens, Andrew. We know some things happen in the final lap of the race, and contact could definitely still happen. As you can see, looks like Mark Johnston got a good enough exit to defend, at least from the time being, but you can see now the slipstream getting a little bit of an effect, but looks like it's not going to be enough, at least for this straightaway. Rob Baker is going to have to sit behind Johnston, at least for the middle sector. Maybe if an opportunistic dive comes in, as you can see, trying to fill up his mirrors. As you can see, even another look right behind. As you can see now, Kidsley really battling with Mayo. Mayo really closed in. Baker really closed in as well. They're going to go side by side, but not quite. Looks like Johnston might just have this in the bag.
That was Dingledell there. No position changes just yet. Last opportunity maybe there for Baker, and he got so close as Luke Kidsley has just crashed. Oh my goodness. The Puma 88 is stuffed in the barrier, and Sterling's back up front, though. Your race leaders are going to come to the checkered flag, and it is Mark Johnston with a win. Rob Baker will take second, Holman third, Mail fourth. Adam Shepard then will salvage a top 5.
What a race. Shane Piggott, after he crosses the line, and he's going to be nominated the Pro-Am winner of race number 1. Cullinan is going to finish in 7th place ahead of Hardy. Davies and Neve are overall top 10. And Roger Morton, Andrew, looks like just held off Craig Schill to finish in 11th place.
Well, I don't know about that. I think they're battling. No, you're right. Okay, it did. I didn't see them cross the line. I was watching timing and scoring, and they switched positions for whatever reason on timing and scoring for a moment. I panicked a little bit. Thankfully, yes. Roger Morton does take 11th, which is good enough for the amateur win. Schill's second. Morris claims third. Sir Alan Toon will come across now and take 4th. And Andrew Littler will be good enough for 5th in amateur competition. So, Luke Kidsley will drop all the way to 19th, and he should still be eligible for an invert if we get 19 or more. We could get full. We've seen it before. Let's go ahead and actually get a quick replay of what happened with Kidsley first. I think that's going to be really important here, specifically for car 88 and how this battle amongst the top three goes. So this is into all of that forest portion. This is Hawthorne, then Westfield, then Dingledell, and the crashes in Sterling. So watch this battle here with Tom Mayle and Luke Kidsley moving around there, almost contact. This is a battle for third place on the final lap, coming to the checkers. Where is the contact made? Is there contact made? Or is it a mistake maybe for Luke Kidsley all on his own? Tom Mayle squares him up for a look. They both go to the top side of the racetrack, and there was absolutely contact.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Tom Mayle just decided the last moment to try go down his inside. Unfortunately, it did it too late, and well, that was the braking zone. Unfortunately for Luke Kidsley, that meant the end of his race. And as you mentioned, Andrew, well, that's just heartbreaking. As you can see, we're gonna take a look at the Hyundai. You're just gonna see switches from right to left. Yeah, and just absolutely normal. Looks like he maybe just got caught off into the braking zone. And unfortunately for Luke, that was the end of his race with 2 corners to go.
He was just Luke, I think, was a little more defensive, braked a little bit earlier, and Tom Mayle braked a little bit later. And anytime you have that, when your bumpers are locked, you're going to crash. So that's how that one goes. Go ahead and fire up the spinning wheel then and get our first invert of the day. Invert for race number 2. Yeah, that was an interesting one to wrap up that race. But the invert is going to flip around. It looks like 16 cars. Yes. 16 cars, just barely 16 cars, will be inverted. That will, unfortunately, leave Luke Kidsley down to the 19th starting spot. But that does invert everybody from Rob Sutherland all the way up to Mark Johnston. That's going to flip some things around. So, if Kidsley is able to get through the field a little bit and get to the RD guys of Mayle and Holman, does he maybe retaliate? Does he maybe run them a little bit rough? We know those Puma guys do not appreciate getting raced like that. Let's go ahead and take a look then at the unofficial race results from race number 1.
Mark Johnston managed to come out with a win 4.5 tenths of a second ahead of Rob Baker in second place. James Holman's going to finish in third on his maiden race. Tom Mayle, his team, is going to finish in 4th place ahead of Adam Shepard. Shane Piggott is going to finish in 6th place with the win for the Pro-M class. The 7th place will go the way of Ralph Cullingham. Carl Hardy is going to finish in 8th place ahead of Nathan Davies and James Neve in the 10th position.
Finishing 11th, you will find Roger Morton with that amateur race win. Craig Schill in 12th, then James Clark, Jason Morris, Carl Johnston, and Rob Sutherland. That will all be inverted around. So Sutherland will now have pole, Johnston second, Morris third, James Clark will roll off from 4th, Craig Schill will start from 5th, and Roger Morton will start from 6th in race number 2. Sir Alan Toon just misses the invert, and I advanced that a little bit quick. Andrew Littler finishes 18th, Luke Kidsley 19th, and Theota Siddons wraps up the top 20.
21st place will go the ways of Jamie Goodall, Michael Seal in 22nd, Tom McMahon in 23rd, Sam Smith in 24th, Andrew Jepson and Glenn Humberstone 25th and 26th respectively. And unfortunately for the latter 4, Andrew, all 8 laps down.
Yeah, definitely some big hits in that race. Definitely some really big hits in that race. We saw the big hits for guys like Andrew Jepson, Sam Smith, and Tom McMahon, and even Glenn Humberstone, who definitely let us know he felt that one. Had a good race going until that last little bit there at the end. That is race number 1 wrapped up. Are there any drivers waiting to talk to us? No, it looks like not. So, JP, we will take our first step aside for the afternoon, the evening, wherever it is, or whatever time it is, I guess, wherever you're watching from, and get ready for race number 2 in just a few moments. Race 1 was definitely busy, definitely hectic, which means we've got a lot to look forward to in the next 3 races throughout the day. Just 7 races left in the season. You'll want to watch the next 3 here today, certainly. Don't go anywhere. More racing on Pit Stop TV in just a few. Right back to it then, race number 2. Let's see if Mark Johnston can run it back in this second race, getting a second race win in a row and the third on the season for car 56. We'll see what he can do as he will start from 16th position, JP. Mired well back in this field now. It's going to be tough to come back through the field without too much issue.
Oh, absolutely, but we saw plenty of guys having great first laps, great first, second, and third laps, and just making a lot of places. So it's definitely possible to see him back on top at race number 2. I definitely wouldn't rule that out possibly, but yeah, he has a mountain of a job ahead of him.
We are, of course, at the virtual Brands Hatch circuit. Plenty of great race cars on this great race track to give, you know, some nice little pictures to us here at Pits.tv. Let's go ahead and take a look at weather then. 65 degrees in the air. That's as cool as you can make it, at least manually. So 68 degrees in the racetrack. It's a pretty nice and calm day, which is a far cry from what I had last night. I filled in over at SimTV for Kyle Heyer for a Mustang race and then a touring car race with the Washington, D.C. region SCCA and JP. They were down at Oran Park. And that's in Australia, if you don't know. If anybody out there doesn't know where Oran Park is. That is in Australia. It gets hot. The air temp was in the 70s Fahrenheit. The track temp was 126. So we're glad we don't have that here today. Your grid then for race number 2. Let's look through the top 16 at least as best as we can, as quickly as we can. Rob Sutherland on pole. Carl Johnston will start from second. A couple of brand new drivers there. Starting from third, you'll find Jason Morris. Fourth will be James Clark, rather. I keep messing up the positions. Starting 5th, you'll find Craig Schill and Roger Morton. 6th, 7th is James Neve. 8th, Nathan Davies. And to round out your top 10 here, JP, Carl Hardy and Ralph Cullinan.
11th place will go the way of Shane Pickett. Alongside him, Adam Shepard in 12th place. 13th place will go the ways of Tom Mayle and his teammate James Holman in 14th place. 15th will go the way of Rob Baker and Mark Johnston in 16th place. Andrew, red lights are on, engines are revving, and we're about to go.
Waiting on the official signal for green flag, and there it is, racing in race 2 at Brands Hatch. Some contact for somebody, and again it's Roger Morton getting shoved off in turn 1.
Luckily this time he remained on the tarmac. As you can see, a great start for our leaders. You saw a Red Bull livery car, looks like going really wide. Oh, as Fiona Siddons looks like is having trouble into turn 2. As you can see now, the rest of the field making their way into turn number 3. And yeah, looks like Fiona Siddons had trouble, but we had some other drivers, looks like started from the pit lane right behind her.
Yeah, it looks like Tom McMahon and Glenn Humberstone maybe opted to start from the pit lane. For Tom McMahon, I think that's a good move. He has had such terrible luck lately. Give him a chance to kind of cool down here in race 2. We'll see how it goes. Up front, a couple of brand new drivers of the series. Rob Sutherland for RD Sim Sport and Jason Morris, one of your amateur drivers, second place.
And they have kind of broken away from the rest of the field. As you can see, even more battling for 4th place. Look at the gap that they have already built. Even before the end of lap 1, as you can see now, Dingledell. And oh, looks like 3rd place going
Nathan
really
Davies.
wide. And Nathan Davies went really wide. Looks like he saved it. Yes, he did, but now he's having to defend. As you can see, oh, even more cars going wide.
And that looks to have been potentially James Clark. Yes, it was. Well off in the dirt, losing some positions here on lap number 1. Tom Mayle doing battle back here with Ralph Cullinan. Battles everywhere here on lap number 1.
And the leader, well, essentially just driving away, controlling the pace for the time being. Sutherland with a really good gap, even to 2nd place, nearly a second. Jason Moore is doing really well.
Craig!
Oh, no!
Craig Schill, this is going to be big. Oh, nobody hit him. How?
Wow, everybody with really good heads-up driving. Looks like they all avoided. Looks like we had an instant up ahead, Andrew, because really the top 5, the top 7 is really switching as we had even more cars going wide. Is that Craig Schill again?
It was. Sam Smith also had an issue there. Everybody, all kinds of jumbled up. There's Adam Shepard in 4th, Rob Baker in 5th. This is where things get real fun. 6th place going the way of Carl Johnston. One of the new cars, and there we go. Big crash. Mark Johnston, who just won a race. He's on the wall. No. Car's broadside. Massive, massive crashing here. Oh, my goodness. Jamie Goodall's around. Roger Morton is in it. Wow.
Wow, that was a really big crash. So 2 big crashes on the first 2 races. Wow, we need to take a look at the replay, Andrew, because I'm pretty sure that contact emerged on the exit of Surtees. I saw two cars just on the last frame before we cut off the camera, just touching. As we're gonna take a look here, just on the exit. There.
Johnston got into Johnston, interestingly enough. Mark Johnston hit Carl Johnston, and then all of this ensues. Jamie Goodall gets a piece. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's how that works out. Lap number 2 was certainly a dandy. Lap number 3 now underway. Race leader Rob Sutherland in car 20. This could be a dream race for him, as I know you've said a couple of times. Jason Morris in second place. It's an amateur. James Holman for pro is now into third. How about that recovery from being inverted all the way down to the bottom, right back up front, and Carl Hardy has just had an issue.
Oh, and a big one. The front end of that Honda is absolutely destroyed. So a head-on collision, I'm assuming with an armor barrier, but it could definitely as well be another competitor. And that's just heartbreaking as well. Looks like it's going to happen on the beginning of the lap, looks like. So I wonder if it's just a mistake caused by himself. So breaking down into turn 1, as you can see, the car seems safe, seems planted. So it's going to happen down into turn 2. Clips a bit of the gravel, keeps the car pointing in the right direction.
Oh, Nathan Davies is going to come in and just blindside Carl Hardy, and Hardy's done.
Wow, how did the car get so lost? How did Nathan Davies' car get so lost? Did he?
He was tracking through the gravel that entire time. You can see him in the background going out into the dirt and got very sideways. So, back up front again. Rob Sutherland and Audi leading the way here at Brands Hatch. That's not something I would have thought I would have said, but an Audi is out front. Jason Morris, second place in a Honda. Third is also an Audi. How about this? The first Hyundai is back there in fourth place with Rob Baker, and this could get fun with Shane Piggott and Adam Shepard, more importantly, closing in.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Rob Baker has 2 jobs closing in on the top 2 who are battling. It looks like Jason Morris is going to yield that position for the time being to Holman. And yes, he does. As you can see now, Tom McMahon was setting the fastest lap of the race, so he's flying. Currently in 18th place, but definitely making some inroads. Now, Adam Shepard really wants to get by the number 51, and I wonder, Andrew, where will this move emerge? Will he force him into a mistake? Will he go for a dive ball? Looks like we have a car nearing Druids. Oh, that's Sir Alan Toon.
Alan Toon with a bit of trouble, but it looks like the car is still clean, so he will carry on without too much issue. But how about Rob Sutherland? The execution here in this race, obviously there's been a lot of carnage behind him and it's helped him out, but the execution to stay up front, not make mistakes so far, that's big. And he's got James Holman closing in, but that's a teammate. They're able to race, you know, I think nicely between these two. We'll see how it goes as some more position changes. Mail and Cullinan, actually. Tom Mail and Ralph Cullinan swapping spots. Cullinan trying to get back onto the racetrack here.
Trying to get back. Looks like he's going to go a little bit wide. No, he saves it before. So the number 11 keeps pointing the right direction. But that rejoin cost looks like a small cascade effect right behind him. Looks like James Neve, Michael Seal as well battling. Both of them heading into, well, looks like the second last corner. Oh, and Michael Seal. Can he save it? Yes, just barely. Now he's going to have to be careful rejoining because that's a terrible corner. But he gets the job done, but unfortunately for him, Andrew is going to be losing quite a few spots, and Fiona Siddons as well as looks like spun around.
So Tom McMahon makes contact there with Michael Seal, sends the 557 around, and Fiona Siddons has a separate issue further back, but she will get back rolling. Back up front, here we go, some side-by-side behind these guys. Jason Morris stacking up and actually losing spots to Rob Baker and Adam Shepard, who now move into third and fourth, so it's an all-pro top 4 now, but 2 brand new drivers atop the scoring pylon. This is big. These 2 new guys coming in and taking some of these points this late in the season. I know some drivers that are needing those points won't be too happy about it, but at the same time, it's more points for your competitors to potentially lose if they crash.
Absolutely. So it's a two-way knife. I'm not pretty sure what the saying is in English, but looks like Michael Seal elected to retire the car, maybe just stopped in the pit lane. Yeah, rejoined. So was that a toe injury or he just drove into the pits? As you can see, it looks like Nathan.
Fast repair.
Oh yeah, true. Nathan Davies still out on the racetrack, but losing positions quite quickly.
Actually, he wouldn't have had a fast repair. I'm mixing series now. I wonder. if maybe he got a penalty. He should have had a penalty just yet, but he might have had some wheel damage, actually. That could be what it was. Maybe a meatball flag, because they were side-by-side contact, and yeah, likely could have knocked one of those wheels out of alignment. Boy, that was certainly out there for Sam Smith, leaving it all on the racetrack as Craig Schill goes a little bit dirty there out of Sterling. This is a battle from about, let's see, McMahon and Cullen in their 9th and 10th. All the way back through Nathan Davies in 15th. There's a line of cars here as Sam Smith is going to have a look at James Clark.
Yeah, looks like the move might be done into turn number 1. You can see the car pointing to the inside line, but elected not to go through it. Looks like we're going to have a position. Looks like Luke Kidsley's losing positions, Andrew. Oh! And we have... That's the amateur leader as well.
Yeah, that's Jason Morris turned around into Druids. Luke Kidsley as well with an issue. So these two must have come together. Here we go, replay again. We're getting more replays in today than we have ever before with this series. Let's get a look back at it. Yeah, Kidsley and Morris are going to have a nice little incident coming down Paddock Hill Bend. We'll get a look at it here.
As you can see, Luke Kidsley, the Hyundai right behind the Puma Hyundai. As you can see, just going to get into the back, just misjudged, and unfortunately he's going to, well, come back to bite him, essentially. Looks like he even got a piece of the armor barrier. As you can see, oh, that was really close. And then it just, well, didn't just rejoin as safely manner, but that was extremely close to being a dangerous rejoin, Andrew.
Rob Baker has just lost 3rd spot, and let's go back and get a look at what just happened to Baker. This is a battle with Adam Shepard. Look at that, a little bit of contact. Shepard to the inside and Dingledell. And that forces Baker out into the grass, and that is 3rd spot then for Shepard. Baker gets moved around into 4th. So changes, they're certainly happening in this race, and big momentum swings, I think. I don't know how you can argue. I know at one point we were saying you couldn't argue against Tom McMahon for the championship. I think that's changed now to Adam Shepard.
Absolutely, Adam has been on, I guess a kind of class of his own. He's just been on an excellent form lately, and... Well, race number 1 and race number 2 definitely are showing that. He has 5 minutes to close in, 2.1 seconds to the leaders. And with the pace that he's been showing, Andrew, and the motivation as well, it could definitely well be possible.
So a really good run here for Adam Shepard once again. Went 5th in race number 1 after that contact. He was able to salvage a pretty good race out of it, get back into the top 5. And now looking at a podium potentially as he races with Rob Baker and tries to catch Rob Sutherland. So in a Rob sandwich. Let's go back though to your amateur race leader now, Shane Piggott, or Pro-Am race leader rather, Shane Piggott in the 5th position overall, just a little ways behind Rob Baker and Adam Shepard, looking pretty good.
Looking pretty good, essentially on a class of his own as well, just on a piece of track. You can see a little bit of a gap ahead of him as the number 51 is still trying to get past back the number 17, and then, well, a massive gap behind, looks like around 6.5 seconds. So just running his own race. And is that an updated livery as well for Shane Piggott? A bit of a chrome thingy.
He's had that.
And Craig.
Oh, James Clark is going to go wide.
Oh,
Craig Schill's
really
going to take
wide.
the spot away, maybe. Side by side into Sterling. No. James Clark, how bullish was that? Gets right back onto the racing line and now goes off again and gives that spot up. I always wonder why drivers will go off track and then get back onto the racing line and fight as if they didn't make that mistake. I've always wondered that.
It's just, I don't know, maybe.
You pick up that grass, you pick up those marbles, and then you fight back into the corner. And, yeah, it just tends to be further issues. Andrew Littler has a problem. Oh, that's a big problem.
Big problem. Yes, that's on the exit of turn 1. No, that's on the middle section of the racetrack as well.
That's between Westfield and Dingledell, it looks like, or Hawthorne. Yeah, Hawthorne and Westfield, actually. He's going to try and get that car right and get back after it. You saw Michael Steele go by. Still, Littler having some trouble back here. Not a great day for him.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, in this race, looks like it might just be cut short. If he elects to keep going on the racetrack, the headlights are still mounted
here
on
come
the
our
car.
race leaders.
The leaders. Yeah, so this could be dangerous for him. He could rejoin right now as
He's got a
Shane
big
Piggott
window
just
here, though.
passed him. Yes, 6.5 seconds between Piggott and Mayle, but looks like he's not going to be towing, at least for the time being. Adam Shepard really close in on Sutherland, but Holman's still very far away, so could Sutherland help his teammate out? And
I think Holman just slid. He just gave up a lot of time in Sterling there.
Oh. So now he has to defend for his life to allow his teammate any breathing room, because I'm pretty sure Adam Shepard is going to want to get past the number 20 as quickly as possible to maybe have a shot at Holman before the end of the race.
Oh, and yeah, he's got Rob Baker breathing down as well. So these three cars, likely will not finish in this order. Shepard looks down to the bottom side of turn 1. That's aggressive, but gets there. That puts Sutherland on the outside, and look at that pass for both of these guys. And now Baker's going to go to the outside for Druids. What a couple of moves there, and I called it. Those three were not going to finish in that order. Sutherland drops well back of these two, but he's not out of it just yet. Shepard over Baker. That's Graham Hill Bend.
And it looks like he's going to be maintaining that position unless a move comes into Surtees, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Maybe for a better exit. Looks like, yeah. Really good exit from Baker. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to get the slingshot effect from Slipstream. Excuse me, but he's going to get a really good run. He's going to force Shepard to go defensive, and they're going to come really close to making contact, and they do.
Racetrack.
Just didn't leave enough room, but Baker, with an absolutely amazing car control, just taps the barrier. He's going to lose 2 spots, but pointing in the right direction and still an intact car.
And look at this. Tom McMahon behind is up into 6th. It's just gone by Tom Mayle in the last few moments. So a couple of Toms doing battle here. But, yeah, that moment there for Rob Baker is going to change a lot in this race. Adam Shepard just, I mean, there's not too many other ways to put it other than drove him off the racetrack. Trying to defend there. You can't drive the guy off of the racetrack, though. There's only so far you can go. And, boy, that's going to change things, too. That's going to come up in the admin's review. That's going to come up in the steward's review. And that will likely be some kind of license point penalty. I don't know how, necessarily the implications that's going to have. But each and every one of these little incidents, whether they're, benign or rather malicious, it doesn't matter. They're going to have some kind of effect, right? They're going to come up in the steward's review. And that one, if you're Adam Shepard, you've got a big lead. You can be careful with the points. You don't want to get into those kind of situations where you're giving up points and penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. But unfortunately, I guess at that moment in time, he just wants to defend for that position, just maintain second place, not really thinking about the big cushion that he has on points. But unfortunately, that small mistake could cost him big, as you mentioned, Andrew. If it does turn out to be a penalty, it could be harsher. It could be just a time penalty, but any way, shape, or form, it could hurt him even more, but then just losing.
They do license points, and they get penalized in the license points in the steward's review afterwards. So it's all going to come up later. It won't be a time penalty that changes these results today. He will still finish in whatever position he picks up here, but things could still change as far as the actual standing. So we'll see how it all goes. James Holman, your race leader. We did just officially get the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams. 1 lap to go, and well, this is that final lap to go here in race number 2, JP, and a couple of Audis are going to dominate the podium for RD Sim Sport. It is a first win for that team and a first win for James Holman. A nice and easy race, all things considered, here in race number 2.
A nice control race for him. Shepard's going to be finishing second place with a good comeback drive. Sutherland in third. Shane Piggott in fourth place, winning the Pro-Am class ahead of Rob Baker. And Tom McMahon, Andrew, after starting from the pit lane, is going to finish in sixth place.
That is big for Tom McMahon. Very big, and I think he's learned his lesson. Just go ahead and start from the pits at this point.
If it worked on race number 2, I doubt it wouldn't work on race number 3, as we nearly had a change for position on the line. I'm not quite sure if you noticed. Looks like it was for 9th and 10th, maybe. No, it was 12th and 13th. Nathan Davies and Clark almost switched up positions on the final few corners of the race. As you can see, the rest of the field just coming on by.
Just a few more cars to go. Fiona Siddons next up. Is this a lapped car potentially? That's not Fiona Siddons. Neither is that. That was Jebsen and Littler. There's Fiona Siddons. Sir Alan Toon will be next up, and Michael Steele will complete the race for us in position number 20. So 20 cars in the lead lap. Littler should still count for the invert in 21st. Only 1 lap down. And Michael Steele is well back here. There is Sir Alan Toon. Where is Michael Steele? Here he comes, finally. Race over then. Michael Seals across the line, and that means that we can go ahead and fire up the spinny wheel, JP. It's been a tumultuous day. How much more tumultuous can we make it for race number 3?
I could definitely go much, and that's your answer, 22.
Oh boy. That's the most we could have possibly inverted, actually. 21 cars, then, will be inverted, because 22nd was Jebsen 5 laps down. So Andrew Littler should still count for that invert. That is as large of an invert as we could have had. It may as well be full and full for 22 and full. Oh boy, this is going to get fun.
Oh, it's gonna get really fun because James Oman, after winning race number 2, is gonna start from 22nd place, and Adam Shepard is gonna start from 21st. Rob Sunderland finishes in 3rd place ahead of Shane Piggott. Rob Baker is gonna finish in 5th place ahead of Tom McMahon. Tom Mayle in 7th place ahead of Ralph Cullingham. Sam Smith is gonna finish in 9th place, and James Neve in 10th. Shane Piggott obviously winning the Pro-Am class.
Finishing 11th, you will find your amateur race winner. That is Craig Chill. Nathan Davies comes across in 12th. James Clark, 13th. Luke Kidsley drops all the way down to 14th after that contact with Jason Morris. Mark Johnston in 15th. Glenn Humberstone, 16th. Jason Morris falls down to 17th. Fiona Siddons in 18th. And then Sir Alan Toon and Michael Seal wrap up your top 20. And these guys will start 2nd through 11th in the next race.
That's going to be really interesting. Andrew Littler is going to start on the front row, but pole position will go to Andrew Littler is going to start 20th. Sorry. Carl Hart is going to finish in 23rd place. Carl Johnson in 24th. Roger Morton, Jamie Goodall, Andrew, all 3 of them, 9 laps down, so involved in that big collisions we had on lap number 2. Unfortunately for them, their race is cut short.
Yeah, Littler will end up with pole here. Jebsen will not go to pole because of, he's 5 laps down. He's well out of range there, which means Littler's decision to continue racing there and drive back to the pit lane is very, very important, because if he had towed, he would have lost a lot more time. So Andrew Littler, props there, even after the mistake, even after all that damage, driving back to the pit lane, or at least continuing on. Driving away from that crash was very, very important and is going to change the course of the day. So props there for Andrew Littler. He has a pretty good starting spot, I would say, for race number 3. Race number 3 then is on the way. Don't go anywhere. 2 more races on the day from Brands Hatch coming up.
Wanna cry.
Welcome back to the virtual Brands Hatch Circuit and Pit Stop TV and the BSRTC Winter Series. Races 1 and 2, JP. I don't know the correct adjectives to use. I really don't. I don't know how to describe them. Hectic is certainly one word you would have to use. Chaotic maybe would fit. It's been wild so far today here at Brands Hatch, and I don't think that's going to let up anytime soon.
Oh, absolutely not. And the fact that on race number 3 we're gonna have 21 drivers inverted, that's just, I guess, it's just gonna multiply what we had. I mean, in a big way, I'd say. We're gonna have obviously some of the guys that were, I guess, unlucky on race number 2, and even a bit of the slower guys against, well, we had the qualifying machines, you can say, up in the front. So it's gonna be a really interesting challenge for all drivers, and it should definitely make it very, very fun to watch.
JP, I do want to thank you for joining me throughout the course of this season. When we start to look at, wrapping this season up, crowning a couple of champions in each division, in each class. It's crazy that it's gone by so quickly. 9 weeks of racing, and we're through 8 of them now at this point. We're at least halfway through the 8th week, and we're quickly looking at like I said, crowning champions in the series. And it feels like it only just got going a few weeks ago.
Oh, absolutely. To look at the schedule and, well, see, the first race was on December 30th, and now we're approaching almost March. It's just insane to think, and it has been so much fun, so much fun to watch these guys race throughout these few months, throughout these 8 weeks, and unfortunately it's coming to an end. So, I mean, I'm really gonna miss seeing touring cars going around these British courses a lot.
But hey, it's that one song that hopefully one of you guys will recognize out there. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. So there's always another season to come along, and more racing, obviously, along with it. And a lot more great racing, I think. We've seen fantastic stuff all season long. This has been some of the best racing we've ever had on Pit Stop TV consistently throughout the course of this season. Let's go ahead and meet, though, the 22 drivers getting inverted, or at least as many of them as we can before we start this race. Andrew Littler will now start on pole. Michael Seal will start from second. Starting third, you'll find Sir Alan Toon. Fiona Siddon starts from fourth. Starting fifth, it'll be the 521 of Glenn Humberstone. Mark Johnston, your first pro driver in the field, starts from sixth. Starting seventh, it's Luke Kidsley. James Clark starts eighth. Starting in the ninth position, you'll find Nathan Davies with Craig Schill 10th. And look at that, green flag is on the way already, so we'll just go ahead and let that wrap itself up and get ready for race number 3. Green lights are out, we're racing already. Three wide already, a lot of Spyro and result cars there in the middle, and I hear some crashing throughout the midfield. This is not going to go well. Sir Alan Toon, one of them, it looks like. James Clark, the other.
3 cars looks like went off. One of them looks like it's still stuck in the gravel trap. But looks like the rest of the field goes cleanly. Oh, as we can see, even more cars looks like having trouble in turn number 3. Even more crashing, Andrew. And no, we're going to have 2 cars going really wide on the exit of turn 3. And boy, oh boy, lap 1 has... Well, it hasn't even reached its midpoint yet, and we already have lots of action to look at.
Sam Smith, one of those drivers in Graham Hill Bend to have issues, and look at the race leader now. That white, green, and dark gray number 557. Michael Seal squeaks out into the race lead. Mark Johnson second, then Luke Kidsley, Nathan Davies, James Neve, your top 5.
An absolutely amazing job by Michael Seal, but unfortunately for him, he's going to have Johnson right behind him, who's one of the fastest guys on race number 1. In fact, he won race number 1. As you can see now, the rest of the field going by your speed shot. That's just an amazing. And I'm pretty sure, Andrew, this is one of the most Dingle is one of the most challenging corners on this racetrack. As you can see, nearly went 3 wide over there. Looks like one of them went a little bit wide, but looks like everybody makes it through safely.
Up to Clark now for the final time on lap number 1. Yeah, we've still got 9 more laps after this in just this race alone. 1 more race to go afterwards. It's going to be one heck of a time. Lap 1 wraps up, and look at this. A battle up front. It is Michael Seal now with company from Mark Johnston. A Pro-Am leading, but I think a Pro is going to say, nope, we're going to change that up here in just one moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like that Pro-Am overall lead might not last too long. I'm pretty sure Michael is not going to give up that easily, though. Pretty sure he's going to make Mark Johnston work for it. As you can see now on the exit of turn number 3. Look at the run that Johnston already had. Could he be looking down the inside into turn number 4? No, looks like he's going to be waiting for the exit of Surtees. You can see that Audi hopped a little bit of the curb. That's going to compromise a lot on his exit, and the number 56 just goes on his outside, and it's a drag race.
We'll work up to Hawthorne now, and Seal just gives that spot up. I think that's very smart here on lap number 2 of 9, maybe 10. If the pace is still there in this race, we should get 10 laps. Luke Kidsley went off in the dirt just a little bit. James Neve there in fourth rather. And Nathan Davies actually in the 5th position. I think some contact maybe with Tom McMahon, as McMahon is going to take it over, and here comes Rob Baker.
As you can see, they're both going side by side into Dingle, and Adam Shepard might want a piece of that as well as we head into the second to last corner. Oh, excuse me. As you can see now, the rest of the field kind of backs away. You can see Adam Shepard now looking down the inside of the final corner. Will he go for that move? No, not quite. He just sits on back, and well, that's going to be the position for the time being. But, well, Andrew, this last part of the top 10 is looking very, very racy this early on.
James Neve goes purple that lap. And look at Shepard looking to the inside of Baker. These two just had a running together in Hawthorne. in the previous race, and Baker's going to block. Baker's had enough, I think. Shepard around the outside and Druids, and look at that. One of the RD Sim Sport cars makes contact.
They both trying to pass each other. As you can see now, Adam Shepard trying to get a better exit out of Graham Hill. It looks like Rob Baker is going to go really defensive early on into Surtees. That's going to force the number 17 to go really wider, close in that door on the inside. Can they still stick it out? Door banging. The number Shepard's going to be losing out. Oh, more contact.
Tom Mayle makes contact with Adam Shepard. Here comes Holman around the outside. Just enough room there. And Shepard is sliding now down to 10th position. And Shane Piggott now lays a bumper to the back end of Shepard for a moment.
That was really interesting to see. Look, Shepard lost 2 positions after trying to gain only 1. As you mentioned, that bump could have gone very, very wrong. But luckily for everybody, it did not. And Adam Shepard now, instead of trying to pass Rob Baker, he's going to have to pass Holman and Mayo first to attack the number 51. As we cut back to the front, looks like James Neve, looks like Michael Seal actually lost all the way back into 5th place. Tom McMahon got past him. And James Neve is leading the class right now, Andrew.
Oh, boy. Nathan Davies was that? Yes, Nathan Davies going for a slide in Clark. And here comes Rob Baker to go around the left side. That's going to bring the RD SimSport drivers into contention as well. Adam Shepard will join them. Let's go on board with Adam Shepard here, as he's going to be able to square up with the guys that he just had running ins with. Nathan Davies gets in between Holman and Mayle, a couple of teammates. Holman now going to have a look to the inside for Druids. Shepard very aggressive. Oh boy, this has all of the makings for a big, big crash in a minute.
Hopefully it won't happen. And Andrew, that's the second time that Nathan Davies' car has spun out mid-corners, so I wonder if his setup maybe, well, it's not helping him 100%. As you can see now, Holman trying to look down the inside of Davies. Did not really work. That might just compromise a little bit on his exit, but looks like Davies really got compromised on his. So that's going to be interesting. Mayle trying to challenge Baker. As you can see now, Holman and Davies, that's going to be a little bit of a drag race. Can the Audi out-drag the Hyundai? Yes, they can. They're going to go side by side. That's going to be contact.
And Shepard gets into the back of Holman a little bit. Nathan Davies comes over and body slams one of the Spyro cars. And Davies is all kinds of torn up, and I think that was Ralph Cullinan that got contact. Now Shepard going to go after it. Yeah, that was Ralph Cullinan. As you can see, the issues there for the 9 car. Shepard and, Shepard and Holman were after it. This is Mayle and Baker. This is up in the 6th position.
Yeah, this is a bit ahead. You can see the number 17 now looking on the outside of Clark Curve. Can he force his car on the outside? No, he's going to try to get the cutback line, essentially pushing the number 51. No!
Oh, my goodness. Off the racetrack goes Tom Mayle. I think he saved it from contact with the wall. The RD SimSport guys, they were nice and orderly in races 1 and 2, but they are rowdy here. Maybe that's what RD stands for, is rowdy.
And it looks like a car went really wide into the gravel trap. We saw a puff of smoke.
And that was Michael Seal, who's now, you can see that left mirror just hanging on for dear life. It's about to fall off, I think. And any more contact on that left side of the car, it just might. Tom Mayle going to square up at him now with Adam Shepard in behind. And Mayle kind of took Shepard's number in this race. So maybe a little chip on the old shoulder there for Adam Shepard.
It's going to be really interesting to see on the exit of Surtees. Looks like Shepard got an identical run out of the corner as Mayle, so they're just going to be drag racing. Obviously, Michael Seal ahead. He's going to be interesting to see how these two will deal with him. So, as you can see now, Adam Shepard essentially just holding back for the time being as we exit Hawthorne Bend. And Andrew, with 7 minutes and 40, that was 50% of the race gone.
Yeah. Wow, what a start. Let's recap a little bit then, or at least go through the field a little bit. Find your amateur race leader, because that is Craig Schill. Well, maybe not. Maybe we can't go just yet. Shepard with a bump there maybe to Mayle, and now he goes to the far right side of the corner. Holman had a look at the corner then. That was Sterling. I don't know if we can leave this yet. I want to go look through the field. These guys are just too exciting right now.
Yeah, they're not letting us watch the rest of the field because this battle is just, as you mentioned, way too good. Shepard looks like lost a bit of that run for Mayle at the time, so he might have to defend from Holman to turn number 1. Looks like the gap is too big for maybe a dive. Maybe into turn number 2, as you can see that Audi trying to fill up the mirrors of Shepard's car, but looks like it's going to be for nothing. Now, Shepard gets a really good run out of turn 1, though. Can he do anything with it? Oh, he pushes him.
I think he hit him for sure, and Holman gets into him then. Oh, this is going to be something. These last few laps are going to get really, really exciting here with these guys. Adam Shepard, we go back on board with him as he's still in front of James Holman. Holman going to look. Now looks to the inside for Surtees. Is there contact? Not quite, but Holman couldn't quite make it stick on the inside. Yeah, I think these RD Simsport guys, RD must stand for Rowdy. They are after it today.
Absolutely, they're extremely fun to watch. And, well, that really did upset the run that Shepard had on Mail, so that's going to compromise on him a little bit. Going to give Mail a bit of breathing room to attack Michael Seal up ahead. And Holman, whether, well, if it was a passing move, just trying to help out his teammate just ahead, really did work, really did create a gap between Shepard and him and Mail. So, wow, Andrew, I'm having to catch my breath. I'm not pretty sure if I'm gonna make it through this, well, final 6 minutes with these guys doing like this.
Michael Seal and Tom Mail go after it now, and Shepard's going to look on from behind. Let's now go back to your amateur race leader of Craig Schill real quick. He's in Sterling now, following Sam Smith and ahead of Andrew Jebsen. So Schill is in 15th overall. Your Pro-Am leader far and away is third place. That is James Neve well up the road. Cars out of this third race are going to include James Clark, Glenn Humberstone, Andrew Littler, Roger Morton, Ralph Cullinan, and Nathan Davies. So a lot of chaos here at the start of this race as well. That's been the theme so far. Look at our race leaders as well. Nose to tail, a couple of teammates. Luke Kidsley following Mark Johnston around the track so far.
It's going to be interesting to see which Puma car comes out ahead. Is going to be the number 56 of Mark Johnston, the number 88 of Luke Kidsley. Looks like this battle, whoa, a rallycross route through that. And no contact.
That was never going to work. Shepard's going to save the car and get back after it, but he came across Holman's nose and now comes into Carl Hardy. Shepard's your points leader coming into today, and I want to be so positive. But just every once in a while, he races like he's the only car on the racetrack sometimes. And I don't mean this personally, but he came across Holman's nose clearly out of desperation, even though he's got the points lead by some margin, and then came back onto the racetrack and immediately hit Carl Hardy. You can't hit this many cars and expect not to lose some points out you today. I know it's been frustrating, and I know maybe you feel a bit wrong by the RD Simsport guys, but you've got to be careful.
Absolutely, a race could end as well just as quickly if you do aggressive moves like that, but luckily for the number 17, he keeps pointing at the right direction. As you can see, the two RG Team Sport cars well running 7th and 8th, chasing down Michael Seal, who's 2nd place right now in the Pro-Am standings. And wow, this race has really taken a toll on my breath because I'm still having to catch it.
Yeah, you and me both here as we race on inside of 4 minutes to go. Piggott looks to the inside of Mail there. And I do hope for Shepard's sake that he can get back up here and have a nice little battle and settle this race cleanly with these guys. You see the gap has worked its way up now. Shane Piggott ahead of him as Shepard sorts it at 10th. He's just got to kind of cool down, I think. You know, get back into a nice state of mind. Calm down a little bit. Doesn't have to race too hard as Steele and Holman go after it ahead. They were side by side there out of Surtees. And oh my goodness, I think Tom Mail just went in the grass to pass him. Yes, he did.
And they both got past Michael Seal. Looks like Shane Piggott is trying to get past his Pro-Am competitor as well, but looks like couldn't do it on the back straightaway. As you can see that Hyundai getting a little bit of grass, but looks like he just a little bit on the exit. Doesn't hurt him too much. You can see Michael Seal, Andrew, looking really racing, trying to get that 7th place back from Tom Mail. Can he do it maybe into Sterling's Bend? No, so he's going to stick behind it, but that Audi is looking really strong as well.
He has looked pretty good in this race. Not necessarily good or bad in the previous 2 races, but he's looked pretty good here in race number 3. A whole lot better. Let's move up to our race leaders then. The race starting to come together. We're inside of 2.5 minutes to go now by just a second or two. And Mark Johnston is leading. Could he take a second race win on the day, or does Luke Kidsley get on ahead? If you look at the points, let's see, it would certainly be better to give Kidsley this win. It would be much, much more beneficial to allow Kidsley to get this race win and try and chip away at the guys ahead. Mark Johnston is much lower in the standings. Johnston comes into this race is actually, let's see, points have been updated now. It looks like some drop weeks are certainly coming into effect. And for Mark Johnston, he comes into this race specifically in 8th place, 510 points back of the leader. Luke Kidsley comes into this race in 4th, only 327 back. So it's still a long shot for Kidsley, but it would help Kidsley more.
Oh, absolutely. Could really help him, as you mentioned. And we saw titles going down to the final lap of, not the final lap, but the final few laps of the race, Andrew. Obviously, season 1 of NARL. So it's definitely not out of the question for Luke Hidsley. Obviously, it's extremely hard, but it could definitely still well happen.
Another look back at some of those cars that were doing battle pro-ams here. Seal had a challenge there from Piggott. Let's drop back and visit our amateur leader for just a moment, as Craig Schill is on his own right now, ahead of Carl Hardy and behind Jamie Goodall. He's 13th overall, so a nice quiet race for him. This should be white flag presented by Whiplash Sim Cams, and yes, it is. Final time around now for Johnston and Kidsley. Johnston has worked up a gap.
Yeah, 4/10 of a second around 4 to 5/10. So if Kidsley has anything to do to try and dethrone Johnston for a second race win tonight, well, it has to be done on the final lap, Andrew. But that gap may be too big to chip away on the final lap.
And continuing the conversation of points, Rob Baker and Tom McMahon are very, very close, within 20 points of each other, as they start to close in little by little on Adam Shepard potentially for the points. And this race is going to help him a little bit. Of course, finishing ahead of Adam Shepard, no matter what the drops will do, no matter what happens after the drops are figured in, it's certainly going to help if you finish in front of him. As, yeah, this is going to be an interesting way for this race to end. On board with Luke Kidsley in second place. Following his teammate Mark Johnston, he draws ever closer out of Westfield. Or into Westfield, rather. Off track a little bit, using all of that runoff. Dingledell next. It'll be Sterling, then Clark for these guys, and they'll wrap this race up. The last good braking opportunity there, and Kidsley just has to follow. No opportunity there to pass him. Can he do anything? Can he use the draft? It hasn't worked yet tonight, hasn't worked yet this week, and it's not going to work here. Johnston does get a little bit loose, but Mark Johnston will take a second win on the day and a fourth win this season. How about that for car 56?
Absolutely, very strong pace for him on Brands Hatch. He's definitely happy with the result he's having here tonight. Luke Hidsley, as you mentioned, finishes in second place. James Neves is going to win the Pro-Am class in third, so a really good performance by him. Tom McMahon in fifth place, just behind Rob Baker. Michael Seal and Shane Piggott will round off the Pro-Am podium. It looks like Craig Schill is going to come out with the amateur victory in 12th place.
Next up across the line comes Carl Johnston. I think, no, it was Carl Hardy. Carl Johnston will be next in car number 19. Johnston, one of the new drivers of the field. In fact, he is in Pro-Am competition. Fiona Siddons will follow him. Then it'll be Sir Alan Toon, and that is the final car running, actually, is Sir Alan Toon in the 17th spot. So whatever invert we have is going to be a little bit tighter. The max we can have, it looks like, will be 19. As cars that are going to finish multiple laps down are going to include Nathan Davies, Ralph Cullinan, James Clark, Roger Morton, Andrew Littler, and Glenn Humberstone all the way back to 25th spot. Now, Clark did get back on the racetrack, but it's not going to help him at all in the results. Jamie Goodall and Sam Smith will end up going down one lap down. And there goes Sir Alan Toon across the line, which means we can go ahead and take a look to our spinny wheel. JP, it's going to be a slightly tighter invert. What's your call?
Oh, I'm going to go for 16. Well, that's going to be easy because it was stopping.
That, for the first time in some time, will put Fiona Siddons on pole. And for the second time today, misses Sir Alan Toon by one position. Wasn't it the first invert as well, where Sir Alan Toon finished 17th and missed it because it was an invert of 16? Does that now happen twice in the same day? Yeah, he does not want to go buy a lottery ticket. Not yet. Not today.
Yeah, not yet. Maybe at the end of race number 4 he can win, but the winner of race number 3 was Mark Johnston. He finished just 0.2 of a second ahead of his teammate Luke Hidsley. James Neave finished in third place with a really strong performance by himself to win the Pro-Am class. Rob Baker is going to finish 4th place ahead of Tom McMahon. James Hallman is going to finish in 6th ahead of Tom Mayle. Michael Seal in 8th ahead of Shane Piggott, and Adam Shepard in 10th place.
Finishing 11th, you'll find car number 982. Once again, it is... Actually, no. The results differ a little bit from ATVO timing screen and the results. Rob Sutherland will finish 11th. Craig Schill, though, will finish in the 12th position and will take your amateur race win. Andrew Jebsen will finish 13th. Carl Hardy, 14th. Carl Johnston, there in 15th. Fiona Siddons will get pole position for race number 4. Carl Johnson will start from 2nd. Carl Hardy will start from 3rd. Jebsen will start from 4th rather. Craig Schill then will start from 5th, and Rob Sutherland will start from 6th. So that's going to change things up just a good little bit. Sir Alan Toon finishes 17th here in race number 3. Jamie Goodall 18th. Sam Smith 19th. And Nathan Davies 20th.
Ralph Cullingham is going to finish in 21st place ahead of James Clark. Roger Morton is going to finish in 23rd place, 9 laps down. And Andrew Lidler and Glenn Humberstone, both of them 10 laps down in 24th and 25th respectively.
And I feel like I should be clear here, and I feel like maybe backtrack a little bit on Adam Shepard. He's driven such a fantastic season, JP. It just seems like in some of these incidents, he's very bullish. Maybe a bull in a china shop a little bit. Obviously, he's racing his heart out just like anybody else. He's out here giving his all in these races, but sometimes it borders on the line of what is and isn't okay. And it just seems like that's his style. A lot like Kyle Busch in the NASCAR Cup Series for a long time, and some other, even Kurt Busch sometimes. The Busch boys, the Busch brothers for a long time were pretty aggressive. That's the best example I have, really. Maybe even, you could say Max Verstappen, moved up a couple of notches even. I think a little bit, a few notches higher than Max Verstappen. It just seems like he's really, really aggressive each and every corner, each and every lap of each and every race, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I think it'd be fair to say he kind of drove Rob Baker off the track a little bit, but obviously not intentional. I don't think he would have done that intentionally. You're racing side by side with a guy, nose to tail with a guy for so long. If you wanted to wreck him, you do it right away, right? So it's certainly nothing intentional. It's part of it. It's part of racing. Certain drivers will be more aggressive than others, and that's really all it comes down to. So for those of you out there that are drivers, it's never ever personal when we criticize you. It's just us doing our jobs here. I just want to make sure that's clear, and we love all of these drivers here at the British Sim Racers Touring Car Thursdays and Trophy Tuesdays all equally. It's been a lot of fun this season and an honor to cover it. We will take a step aside, another intermission before we get race number 4 on deck. Welcome back to the virtual Brands Hatch circuit. Time running out in warm-up for race number 4. Drivers about a few moments to get caught up on the weather and the ambiance changes. Look at this. Nice sunset there behind Clark Curve. We are getting right down to sunset. It's always fun when the lights are able to turn on the race cars. JP, the light starts to light level starts to go down. It just, I don't know. It's got a certain aura about it, a certain ambiance. Like I said, that just gets a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely love it when the headlights are on. I love racing in the dark. I know for us is not the best option out there, but you know, just having, you can see the flashes of headlights, and you can see them just lighting up the roads and the trees and everything else. It just, I don't know. I just love it.
So race number 4 on the way. It's been a fun day so far. A whole lot of great racing, a whole lot of conflict already in this day of racing, and it's only going to continue, I think, in this final race of the day. Let's go get right down to it. Those words. Fiona Siddons on pole for this race. Carl Johnson will start from second. Starting third, you will find Carl Hardy. Fourth will be Andrew Jebsen. Craig Schill roll off from the 5th position in car number 982. Rob Sutherland in car 24. Adam Shepard rolls off 7th in car 17. Then it's Shane Piggott in 8th. Starting 9th, you'll find Michael Seal. And Tom Mayle will start from 10th.
11th place will go to James Holman in the 104. The number 66 of Tom McMahon is going to start in 12th place. Lights are on, Andrew. Engines are revving once again. And for race number 4, we are away.
Look at the start for Fiona Siddons and the crashing there. I believe that is, oh boy, Johnston and Jebsen in turn 1. Everybody else continues on.
Jebsen didn't have the best of 4 rounds today. I don't think luck has been on his side. Fiona Siddons still leading as we exit turn number 2 and enter turn number 3. You can see a few cars pushing each other up into turn number 3. Looks like Fiona's lead might be challenged just before Surtees.
Alan Toon in trouble.
Oh no. Oh, again.
Fiona Siddons now in trouble, losing positions, but still rolling at the very least. There's a lot of contact behind. Look at these guys going off the track a little bit, trying to get everything they can. Glenn Humberstone. No, Craig Schill has just gone by Fiona Siddons. That is for the amateur lead. Look at this. Rob Sutherland and Adam Shepard making some big moves. Carl Hardy through for Pro-Am lead. Craig Schill through for the amateur lead. James Holman makes a big move on Fiona Siddons now for Westfield. That one.
Michael Seal just got past her, forced her a little bit wide, and she's going to be dropping even more positions. In awful, terrible luck, I guess, for Fiona Siddons on lap number 1, just being forced to the outside on these corners. Not a chance in the world. Too bad. As you can see now, Adam Shepard absolutely racing and trying to get the lead early on in the race, even before lap number 1. He's going to be forced to the outside into the last corner. He's going to be cutting back in, and he might just have that lead. They're going to be drag racing through the line, Andrew.
What a good move there from Shepard. Now, there's an interesting point situation developing, and with the drops now getting figured in as the day goes on, I think Shepard might have been aware of this, and oh! Shepard gets turned! Rob Sutherland absolutely crashes Adam Shepard, and that is his race 4 done and thrown in the rubbish bin. I can't believe it. What I was about to mention is the fact that Adam Shepard, into this final race of the day, only has 5 points to Rob Baker. 5. And that's going to get thrown away now. Contact here with the RD Simsport, number 24 of Rob Sutherland. I can't believe it.
Me neither. Was definitely not expecting that. And now we're going to see into the braking zone. Oh, and that's... I don't know how to call that, Andrew.
That's a very, very tough one. Let's get one more look at it just because of how much this impacts the entire season. And then we'll get back to live picture here. This is really, really big. Major, major championship implications. Does Shepard get in deep? Yes, but then... Wow, I mean, he just turned in. Sutherland just turned in and drove through Adam Shepard. That is a good case, I think, for a protest.
Absolutely. That's going to be open. It's going to be an interesting investigation. It's going to be a long investigation as well. Because as you mentioned...
I don't envy Andy McEwen and Michael Seal and everybody else who's on that stewards board. It's going to be something.
Yeah, absolutely. But While that doesn't happen, Sutherland takes the lead, well, retains the lead for the time being, 8/10 of a second ahead of Carl Hardy, but Rob Baker wants a piece of that second place. It may be a battle for first. As you can see now, Rob Baker going for a very opportunistic move down into turn one. Carl Hardy kind of closes the door, but that's going to compromise his exit. The number 51 is going to have a look down into turn number 2 into Druids. You can see now battling with Holman, and looks like they're going to go side by side out of Druids into turn number 3, and well, it's going to maintain position. So it's Hardy from Baker to Holman, McMahon, and Schill.
A good drift further back by Mark Johnston. He's now side by side with Luke Kidsley. Nathan Davies up the inside. All three Puma cars, 3 wide. What a drift there from Nathan Davies and Surtees. That was incredible. He's going to lose a spot, but that was great. Back up front, Tom McMahon falls in behind James Holman. This is going to get fun.
That was the third time that Nathan Davies' car has spun around, well, half spun, and now you can see the battle between those guys. You can see Michael Seal being forced to the outside. We're going 3 wide, Andrew, on this middle part of the racetrack. That could end up in tears, but it does a Michael Seal losing a bit of spots, as you can see. Now we're going on 2 doubles, 2 wide. Michael Seal flashing his headlights, maybe out of frustration, being forced to the outside. To Diego Dahl in contact. Can he save the car before he hits the barrier? Yes, he can. Can he rejoin safely? Yes, he can as well.
What a rejoin there. That was pretty good to get back to the inside of James Neve. Piggott made a little bit of contact with him, and here we go. All 3 Puma cars back in a row. Sam Smith made a contact further back. I think Morton might have just moved him out of the way. Yes, indeed. Craig Schill, Tom McMahon, and James Holman are going after it.
Sutherland gets the fast lap of the race. Baker quickly dethrones that, and now you can see this battle into lap number 1. That's going to be contact. They both save it. Kind of, yes. Wow, Andrew, this is getting really racy for race number 4. You can see now Craig Schill losing places. Nathan Davies gets past him, and our amateur leader is kind of facing tough competition right here.
He's only got a few more spots back to Roger Morton at this rate. About 7 positions. He's lost a lot of the advantage he started this race with. And look at this, Tom Mayle to the inside of Shane Piggott. This is just behind Craig Schill, and that is good enough for 10th now for the 18 of Tom Mayle. Back up front, Rob Sutherland, company here from Carl Hardy.
Carl Hardy looking to the outside into Hawthorne Bend. Can he stick it around the outside? Not quite. That's going to really compromise his exit. Rob Baker's going to have the inside line into Westfield Bend, and he's going to have that position. So from battling from first, Carl Hardy now looks into 3rd place for himself, and that's really not going to sit well with him, I don't think so. Rob Baker now has a clear shot at our race leaders, Sutherland and Andrew with 9 minutes to go. I don't think these positions, well, are going to be holding until the end of the race.
No, they won't. Not a single position in this race, I don't think, aside from maybe the guys that are out of this race, like Sir Alan Toon, Andrew Jebsen, and Adam Shepard. And I really do. I really feel for Adam Shepard in this race.
Absolutely, just unfortunate for him battling for the lead. And that was really heartbreaking. Now Holmans has the fast lap of the race. Kidsley steals that away really quickly. He's now in 6th place, and look at this train, Andrew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nearly 6 car on this, well, essentially 6 car battle for the race lead. Sutherland's doing everything he can to hold everybody.
Look at that line down Graham Hill. Carl Hardy there in 3rd is your Pro-Am leader by a couple of seconds over Nathan Davies. He's got to be careful in this line, though, as, oh, here we go. James Holman to the inside of Carl Hardy, getting aggressive.
Carl Hardy really cautious, trying to fight. Looks like they're going to be drag racing. Oh, even more contact. So door banging in the middle of the straightaway. That's fun to watch. Now Holman's going to have to defend from Luke Kidsley, looks like it. And Luke looks like, no, that's Tom McMahon. That's Tom, so making his way past, and he's going to be defending from Carl Hardy, looks like.
And this is for the race lead. Car 24 to the point. Rob Sutherland takes that back away from Rob Baker. Actually, no, I think he might have had it. Baker might have had it for a moment, but Sutherland gets that back as Hardy and McMahon go side by side. Hardy on the outside. Here comes Holman up the inside.
Tom gets 3rd place. Looks like, yeah, Holman can off by back. Now Baker's going to be looking to the outside into Clark Curve. So both teammates, Andrew, are looking to make it a really quick work from these leaders. As you can see now, Rob Baker with an excellent run, and that's going to help his teammate as well.
Really good move there. They'll get in line on the bottom side of the racetrack and draft to turn number 1. Good stuff from the area motorsport drivers. putting the pain on the RD Simsport boys. They're in third and fourth, and look at this behind them. Luke Kidsley going for a slide, gets by Mark Johnston, and that is in front of Carl Hardy now. Luke Kidsley's just behind.
You can see now Carl Hardy.
Backwards. No. It's Davies right behind Hardy. That's for Pro-Am win.
Yes, absolutely. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Now Tom Mayle gets past Nathan Davies, but Nathan gets that position back, kind of forcing Mayle off of the racetrack, quickly just rejoining behind Shane Piggott. And now the battle for the Pro-Am lead is still very much alive. Now it's Carl Hardy against Nathan Davies.
On board with Davies in the 8th position overall. This has easily been the most hectic race of the bunch. I don't know how they've managed it, but they have.
Absolutely. Race number 4 with that amount of inverts, that was really fun. It's still far from over, Andrew. 6 minutes to go.
Still on board here with Davies. Good run there in Westfield. Let's go back up front then. 2 teammates leading the way for Area Motorsport. Rob Baker first, Tom McMahon second. Holman is third for RD Simsport, a brand new team to the series. And they have been nothing short of aggressive as a few cars run wide there in Sterling. This is a good battle for second. Holman and McMahon, they've not seen much of each other today. McMahon now with the advantage.
Absolutely. McMahon, well, is going to grab a lot of points, Andrew. His competitor for the championship is out of the race, so this race for him is mandatory that he finishes this race in a well-point Spain position. Currently losing quite a ground to his teammate Rob Baker, kind of just driving away. So now he has to focus on defending that second place from Holman, who has been really, really strong in his debut round.
So a points update coming into this race. It was 5 points between Shepard and Baker, 101 between Shepard and McMahon, 256 between Shepard and Kidsley. That's just in Pro. It's a 39-point gap between Piggott and Davies in Pro-Am, and Michael Seal is a little further back. And it's over 100 between Craig Schill and Roger Morton. So Schill's day has gone the way he's needed it to. As we're down to already inside of 5 minutes to go in this race, JP, and it feels like it just started.
Absolutely. My throat, I mean, it's just dry. It definitely doesn't feel like it just started, but it's absolutely amazing. Now you can see the number 573 of Carl Hardy. He was leading the Pro-Am class. Now he's in third place. Nathan Davies and Shane Piggott are first and second. And I mean, Carl Hardy's definitely not going to let that go so easily. He's definitely going to be trying to pass Shane Piggott as soon as he can. But unfortunately for him, he's going to have competition from Tom Mayo just behind him.
This is a long line of race cars. We haven't had big incidents in this race like we've had previously. A couple of spills, a couple of accidents, but nothing nearly as large as we saw in races 1 and 2 that split this field up and made it smaller groups. Yeah, this is a long line of race cars. They work back into turn 1. Paddock Hill Bend. Inside of 4 minutes to go. That means 3 laps to go.
Just 3 laps to Tom. Tried to get past his teammate. Can he do it, Andrew? That's going to be the big question. How will those two finish? As you can see now, this battle, Luke Kidsley and Sutherland, they're going to be battled into turn number 3. And I'm pretty sure the number 88 definitely wants a shot at maybe that podium just ahead. But first, he needs to get past the number 24.
The team alliances are clear up front. You've got 2 Area Motorsport drivers, then 2 RD Simsport drivers, then 3 Puma drivers. And then you get back to Shane Piggott, who's actually teammates with Adam Shepard, Carl Hardy, who was there with Result Clothing. Here we go, though, for 4th place, rather. Kidsley up the left side of Sutherland. Sutherland had that contact with Shepard and Paddock Hill Bend so long ago, and he will hang on to that spot. But Davies now, or Luke Kidsley, rather, up the inside there for Westfield. Can't get it.
Cannot get it, but definitely upset the car number 24. You can see the Audi going really wide. That's going to open the door for both of his teammates as well. So a perfect job well done for the Puma team. All 3 cars in line passing. So a really good job for them. Now Luke Kidsley has a clear shot if he can stay on the tarmac for 3rd place. And look at these two. Holman is just waiting for any opportunity for these two. As soon as they go side by side, they're going to lose a bunch of time, and that Audi will be straight back to the lead battle.
Carl Hardy and Shane Piggott doing battle further back. Oh, look at that. Jamie Goodall way out of the dirt. Gets a handle on that race car. Will get back on behind Michael Seal and maybe even Roger Morton, who's going to come up behind him. There's Morton. Thinks better of it.
Yeah, too far away to maybe think about a dive. Maybe into turn number 2, as you can see now. Action into Druids. that looks like it's just ahead of James Neave. So this is Tom Mayle in 10th place, trying to get past Shane Piggott. Couldn't really do it, and unfortunately fell under pressure. But looks like these group right here, Andrew, they're battling for 2nd and 3rd place in the Pro-Am class.
Yeah, these are very important battles. Hardy and Piggott for Pro-Am, you're right. Mayle is a pro driver. Neve is Pro-Am, and he is 4th in class as they work towards Hawthorne. Once again, let's go on board with Tom Mayle.
As you can see, he's approaching in the mid part of Hawthorne's bend, gets a really good run, but unfortunately runs a little bit too wide into the grass. He's going to be losing a bit of time, essentially pushing Shane Piggott through Westfield Bend, now into Dingledale. This is one of the trickiest corners on the racetrack. Who can nail the best? Looks like they both do it very, very similarly. So Tom Mayle's going to be holding that position and at least that gap for the time being. So, Andrew, this is really interesting. The guys that don't want to hold ground looks like are these three.
It's a 3-car race up front. 2 area motorsport drivers, 1 RD Sim Sport driver, Rob Baker, Tom McMahon, and James Holman. White flag is out. 1 lap to go, presented by Whiplash Simcams in race number 4 of round number 8. This is race 32 on the season. It's just Bathurst after this. Very deep, all 3 of them there into Druids.
Tom got the best run out of Druids, but looks like he's not going to be able to capitalize on that. You can see Holman, we're getting really close to the number 66 as well. This is going to be intense, Andrew, and we're not even halfway through the lap. I'm not really sure if I can take it. There we go.
Nothing just yet, but the Audi's better in the straight line. McMahon is feeling the pressure for sure. They'll race down to Hawthorne. Holman, holding steady behind him, looks to the right, showing his nose, showing he's going to try and pass somewhere, but where? Holds put, stays put rather there in Hawthorne. Westfield next. Just a few corners remaining. Officially, the white flag presented by Whiplash Simcams.
Just a few corners to go now. Dingledale, they're holding position. Maybe a look to the inside for Holman. Not quite close enough. And Baker is going to be leading them into Sterling's Bend, the number 66. Not close enough. Maybe a dive into the final corner. Andrew, I think it's too far away.
I think it's just too little, too late. Final corners now for Baker, McMahon, and Holman. And it will be Rob Baker out of the final corner at a Clark Curve with a race win at Brands Hatch. That is big for the season. That is really big. That
Absolutely.
is the one race, I think, in the entire season that he needed to win. With Adam Shepard being junked in turn 1, only a 5-point gap. Rob Baker just might be your new points leader. Your Pro-Am winner, that's going to be Nathan Davies. Second was Carl Hardy in that class. Piggott was third. Your amateur race winner, once again, it's Craig Schill. Morton goes second, and Fiona Siddons will take third.
And, I mean, Andrew, what a final race we had. Unfortunately, it was race number 4. I wish this was just the beginning as well, because I'm definitely ready for 4 more.
And new win totals in this BSRTC season. Well, Adam Shepard still leads with 5, but he wasn't able to add to his total. McMahon and Baker, Area Motorsport, now tied at 4. Mark Johnston also has 4. Your one lone 3-time winner on the season is Luke Kidsley. You got a couple of 2-time winners in Elliot Harper and Aaron Rose. They were teammates. And then a whole lot of 1-time winners this season. Just incredible. Incredible the way that race panned out, especially, as we mentioned, so unfortunately for Adam Shepard.
Really, really unfortunate. Really unlucky for him to happen on race number 4. With that instant, Rob Baker took, well, not directly connected, but Rob Baker took the win ahead of Tom McMahon. James Holman is going to finish in 3rd place ahead of Luke Kidsley. Mark Johnston in 5th place ahead of Nathan Davies, who you mentioned, Andrew, was our Pro-Am leader. Rob Sutherland is going to finish in 7th place. Carl Hardy in 8th ahead of Shane Piggott in 9th. And Tom Mayle, the number 18 car, is going to finish in 10th place.
Finishing 11th, you'll find car number 556. James Neve takes 4th place in class. Sam Smith 5th. Michael Seal falls down to 13th overall. And Craig Schill grabs another amateur win. And it's Jamie Goodall there in 15th. Just holding steady over Roger Morton. You'll find James Clark 17th, Glenn Humberstone 18th, Carl Johnston, and Fiona Siddons wrap up your top 20 in race 4.
21st place will go to Andrew Littler, the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Ralph Cullinan is going to finish a lap down, and our non-finishers are going to be Adam Shepard in 23rd place, Andrew Jevison in 24th, and Sir Alan Toon in 25th spot.
Wow. Wow. We saw a debut of a brand new team today, JP, and I gotta say, RD has gotta correlate in some way to Rowdy. They were aggressive.
Absolutely, and they made this race a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see them more in Bathurst. That's going to be really fun to see those Audis going for it.
The points are going to shake up a whole lot. It was a 5-point gap coming in. We'll see if there's an update just yet. No update yet, but boy, that's going to be one to watch on social media. We will have point standings after this week's racing into Bathurst next week, posted on social media. So if you are on social media at all, there's plenty of places to follow along with us. We'll get to that in a moment, but we will have those postings out there for you. For now, let's talk about some upcoming broadcasts here for us, JP. No more this week. Have the weekend off. We're going to relax a little bit, watch the Daytona 500, among other things. And then Tuesday, right back to it, Mount Panorama, Bathurst. That's going to be a lot of fun with the BSR MX-5 cars. The Mazda MX-5's Trophy Tuesday is going to be a lot of fun. 8 p.m. UK time. That is 3 p.m. Eastern, and we are settling a championship. We are crowning a pro champion, a pro-am champion, and an amateur champion in that series, in fact. In case anybody's curious, I'll go ahead and fire up the points and read this one out. I want to say Jason Cooper has got it just about wrapped up. We're going to check anyways. The standings... yeah, Jason Cooper far and away has this one just about wrapped up. Andy McEwen is second. Tom Griffith's third, and they're not separated by much. Casper DeCourt and Andy Delmont are close, and it's a ways back to Lars Fisher and Michael Seal. There's a lot to race for in the Miatas on Tuesdays. We have a new Pro-Am driver in the top 10. Liam Silkstone is likely to take that championship. Paul Duncan and Douglas Stewart are close. Adam Mitchinson is starting to pull away with the amateur title, but it's not guaranteed just yet. So a whole lot to watch for on Tuesday. And then, after we crown a champion, JP, we get the North American Racing League. Porsche Cup cars at Daytona. How about that combination? We heard it was a draft fest from Andre Melchers, and I think it's going to be more of a draft fest. And that was a draft fest at just Hockenheimring. I think it's going to be more of a draft fest at Daytona. And then look at that. We are staying within the theme of road racing. Even Outlaws Sim Series is getting in on the action, going to not Road America. I was about to say Road America for some reason, going to Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, a fantastic premier Canadian racetrack up in Bowmanville, Ontario for race number 2. There's a lot to watch for in this upcoming week of racing. Of course, Thursday, we get to the BSRTC series finale.
Absolutely, that's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait to be part of 2 of these broadcasts that you're seeing on screen and watch the third one on Wednesday. But obviously, to watch it, I have to follow it on social media on facebook.com/pitstoptv, on twitter.com/pitstoptv_ for live updates, on instagram.com/pit_stop_tv, also for live updates, and obviously information on the series, and obviously the live coverage on youtube.com/pitstoptv1.
So that will do it from Brands Hatch. It seems like no drivers want to talk to us, JP. Hey, I'm fine with that. That means we can go ahead and relax, because we're going to need it before Bathurst next week. I have no clue what to expect on the mountain. It's going to be wild. Take everything we saw tonight and everything we saw Tuesday and ramp it up a little bit. You have those long straightaways, of course, headed up the mountain into Quarry Bend and obviously into the mountain. Those tight corners with the walls bearing down on you. The Dipper's going to be a lot of fun, of course. Skyline is going to be interesting. Forest Elbow sets up for the Conrad straight down the hill. The Chase, I think, is going to be one of your biggest passing opportunities, one of your main passing opportunities, certainly. Hell Corner. Oh boy, it's going to be a lot of fun next week at Bathurst. I got to say, though, if there's any one driver you're looking for, JP, next week, between both series, Trophy Tuesdays and touring cars here, I got to ask, who are you looking for to capitalize next week at Bathurst?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot like that. That's going to be really interesting. On Tuesday, I dare say I would love to see Chris Knox with his little aggressive style on the mountain. I feel like that would be a lot of fun, but I'm going to place my bets. I'm going to be really safe on Jason Cooper on Tuesdays. On Thursdays, I'm going to go for Luke Kidsley. Putting it out there 1 week before.
There you go. I got to think about the MX-5 driver I'm looking at. honestly, Liam Silkstone has been so adamant that he's going to get an overall win. If he doesn't, I'll be disappointed. So Liam Silkstone, you're on notice. And for BSRTC, ooh, there's a few options. There are definitely a few options. I'm probably, honestly, looking for Tom McMahon to get back after it because he is third in points. Points have just been updated. Rob Baker is far and away your leader. It's a 95-point gap headed to the final week of the season. Tom McMahon third in 150 points back. So only 55 back of Adam Shepard. So I'm looking for Tom McMahon to step back up, turn his luck around, and get back after it. We'll see how it all goes. I think Shane Piggott would be number 2 on that list. And yeah, we're going to have some great points battles next week, JP, in this BSRTC category. But hey, you know what? A driver went ahead and connected real quick. Let's go ahead and grab him. Before we sign off for the evening, Craig Schill is standing by.
So, Craig, after what for us were 4 amazing races, I want to hear from you. How was your day in your point of view?
Consistent. That's probably the word that sums up my round this time. It was consistent. I wasn't really pushing too hard because I knew I needed to get some points. But when I did get up the front, I was having a little bit of a dig with the front boys.
And how fun is the full course of Brands Hatch compared to the shorter version that we had at the beginning of the season?
I love it, but then again, I like Brands Hatch anyway. It always throws up some exciting racing and close racing.
Well, absolutely. We saw plenty of close racing. We saw amazing racing. And, well, next week, Bathurst, how does it compare to this one? Is it completely different? Quite a few similarities. How do you prepare for Bathurst?
Lots and lots and lots and lots of stupid practice because I'm not great at Bathurst. I did the Bathurst 12-hour and going up over the mountain, I was shocking. Probably the only word I can think of. Yeah, practice, definitely.
Well, we're definitely going to keep an eye out for you next week. Hopefully your practice goes beautifully and we can see you in the front of the field, let alone the front of the the amateur field as well. But before I let you go in practice, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out?
I'm going to thank the 88 Tech team because they're always behind me, always pushing me. If they crash out or something happens, they're straight in spotting and telling me where everyone is and giving me a live update. So I'll thank the 88 Tech lot and my family for constant support.
Well, absolutely, Craig. And with that being said, I'm going to let you focus for practice and hopefully we can talk to you plenty more next week on Bathurst.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. So, Andrew, that was Craig Schill. Not sounding too confident for Bathurst, I dare say, but, well, he had a great day here today.
He's got reason to be at least optimistic. Craig Schill is going to walk into next week at Bathurst with about 200 points back to Roger Morton. That is a pretty solid gap to have going into the final race of the season, so we'll see how it pans out, obviously, in 1 week's time. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening, though, here at Pit Stop TV. It's been a treat to have you all along for the ride. If this is your first time watching Pit Stop TV, or if for some reason you don't follow us, or if you haven't subscribed just yet, I would highly recommend doing so. Go ahead and hit that follow button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, follow us along. Just be here for the ride that it's going to be in 2022. A lot of great broadcasts coming up the rest of the month here in February and the rest of the year in 2022. And you want to make sure to stay informed. Everybody here at Pit Stop TV, myself, Andrew Cardinale IV, and JP Costa along for the ride today, and everybody else that makes things happen behind the scenes. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Hopefully, you join us next time out at Bathurst.